Welcome, Lidgate. You have the honor of being the very first.
Close enough. I wouldn't dare just panic and complain about 4 seconds. I'm a completely different person this week. You wouldn't believe how calm, collected, and absolutely okay with just all the things I am. It's a new me. It's a new day. It's a new world. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Volume up. More louder. Are we writing out already? Am I done? What time is it? No, I don't think I'm done yet. Christian, hold on. Okay, sorry. The new chat thing shows me from last week what the chats are. That's what's screwing me up. I looked at it, I'm like, why did Hannah rate out? Where is it? What is happening right now? Yeah, no. It the new chat window does a weird thing where it remembers last time. I have to hit the clear button, which I don't even know where that is right now. So we're just gonna pretend it's fine. It's yes, we have a time zone change. We had on Sunday daylight savings time. Did it end or start? I think it ended, and therefore we have an hour. It did mess me up for a little bit. Because I've got, it's technically 11. So when I woke up this morning and I'm like, I feel why am I extra dozy? My daughter came around the corner and was like, well, it is an hour earlier than you think your body thinks it is. And I'm like, oh, right, or later, whatever. But it only takes a day to adjust. I just haven't adjusted yet. You know how it goes. Yours is end of March. Interesting. That's I love learning stuff like that from around the world and how things are different in different places. Very cool. It was lovely. I'll give it that. It was lovely the other day, like a couple days ago, and today's very nice. And then tomorrow it's going to be ice and miserable and storm and all kinds of terrible. Which means we like I was actually in the car yesterday. I was saying we should take the snow tires off. What a lovely day! And my family's like, "Are you dumb?" Yes, apparently I am, because it's good. Winter's coming back tomorrow. Oh well. I try not to get too hyped about it. I've told myself many times when it gets warm that first time, don't get your hopes up. Every year I get my hopes up. It's spring. Let's go. And then I'm critically wildly disappointed when there's just get yucky again. Hope you guys are doing okay. The weekend was a really interesting one. Let me show you a little behind the scenes something since you're early and you're here. Let me show you something fun. Yeah, no. Here, go here. Check this out. This is unreleased as of right now. It's only got 2 articles on it. I'm not going to be transferring everybody over and inviting everybody until I get 5 or 6. We'll see if I can do 5 or 6, because then at least what you're supposed to do is you get it all built up, and then people go and they binge, right? And so I think I did a pretty good job setting it up. Be interested if you want to take a look. It's very cool, I think. What do I know though? Here, see if I can show you. Just because it took me a while. I really like Substack. I know it's got its foibles and flaws. One of them being that like discovery is apparently weird and Google treats it a little differently or whatever. But like it's very clean, right? It's so clean. Just there it is, kablooey. You don't have to worry about much. I've got these 2 articles on there, and it's got, I don't know what notes are. Oh, notes are like Twitter. Notes are Twitter. Back to the emergency visit to the vet. Poor Pepper had a very swollen liver. How does one get a very swollen liver? Was it like a food thing? Was it an illness thing? Yeah, I rewrote the whole thing. Because the intention is to make it focused on content creators, right? Like it's just designed to be for creators and helping creators and whatnot. Because before it was like, what am I writing about? What am I supposed to be on? And it was like, well, I'm trying to defend content creators, plus I'm trying to inform all the people about what I'm doing, plus I'm trying to this, and plus I'm trying to that. And so I'm like, you know what? Just focus, content creator stuff. And along the way, if people read it, they're going to be like, oh, also content creation is kind of cool. I worked really hard on my about. I think it looks really good. I think it looks really, really cool. Yeah. Other than that, it's very simple. I like it. I like how simplistic it is. Because when I go to my Twitch, my WordPress, no. If I go to my WordPress, there's a lot more going on. Like there's just so much more. There is a lot more icons and a lot more like stuff, like descriptions, and then there's the blog, and then there's a blah 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 blah, blah. And it's fine because it's a website. It's meant to do that. I'm just going to be changing this to be basically a business card online that'll point to where else I am. But yeah, I'm excited. I spent hours and 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 hours on it, and came out with 2 articles that I've already written once. What are you gonna do? But what else? Oh, she's not sure what the cause is. She's recovering from something she's dealing with, expecting oral flea meds. Oh, because you had new meds. Oh, okay. You know, I mean, that's the thing, right? You change meds like that and things can get a little wonky. At least in humans, that's for sure. You never know. It's like they're like, this works really good in 90% of animals or people or whatever, but in 10% it causes them to turn inside out. So probably will work, but like there's a chance things will just go sideways on you. Sorry about that, but try them. You're probably fine. Science. Hello, Magic and Twilight. Yes, today we're going to be talking about depression. I'm trying to get into a rhythm more and more as the days roll on. I'm trying to get into a really focused set of content specifically for content creators. I've changed all my graphics. I've changed all my abouts. I've changed my focus. I've changed all kinds of stuff. Try not to get too crazy about it because I really do need to lock down what I'm up to, and been really encouraged by someone especially like after 5 years talking to somebody who should have known, and they're like, I don't know what you do. I don't know what taco stands for. I don't know what your stream's about. I've been to your stream. I don't know what you're about. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Why would I come there? Like who do you serve? And I'm like, that's crazy to me, because it's like, it just made me kind of bummed out that even though I teach all this stuff, right? Even though I'm doing things, hello, Nicholas, in class to say, who's your passion and who's whatever. I was hypocritically trying to split myself in 2 directions. Well, 3, right? Like I'm going to be content creator, community builder guy, but I'm also going to be content creator, pastor to content creator, trainer to content creators. And it's like, because I did that for so long, it was really shooting me in the foot. So I am now going to do something different. We're just going to focus on this and see how it goes. We'll try that for a year or so and see what happens. The meds with stuff I picked up at the pet store. Okay, wanted to go to the oral route because topical stuff. You need to keep the dog away from cats, and that's hard when I can't keep an eye on both. Yeah, you can't have something. If you got both, you can't have one that you can't be around cats. That's crazy. That's like poison to them. Can I propose you a game? I'm not gonna be playing a game for quite a while, and then I've got Stardew on the brain. I was a variety streamer back before I found Stardew, and now I'm not. Now I am a Stardew streamer. So it's I thoroughly enjoyed Stardew. Boy, I'm really not digging some of these songs. I'm gonna remove some of them from my my playlist. Remove from playlist. Skip. There we go. I do want to get back into some other kind of games and whatnot. I still think it's fun to try other games. Thursdays I'm gonna, I've got Lego to build. I've got food to try, Tokyo Treat stuff. I've got some ideas that like 3 things I want to be able to kind of do for content creators. One is to do the philosophy and how to help like you personally. And then the second one is content, as in like how to help you discover your audience and hone your content and things like that. And then third is to come up with content ideas. I'm putting this away. My phone is blowing up. Drive me crazy. Come up with content ideas, which we were kind of doing a little bit before. Like I've got really cool videos like about new indie games that are out, or like a Game Ranks comes out, top 10 games that are coming out next month kind of thing. We can watch those, and I don't think there's any reason why you can't spend some time talking about games I'm not going to play but others might, because hey, if you haven't heard about it, there you go. I know I'm terrible at that. For a long time, like I'd watch these other content creators, like, how did you know that was going to be big? How did you know that was coming out? Like I didn't, like, for example, the old one, Digging a Hole, right? The game about digging a hole. Like, how did you find that? How did you know about that? Why is everybody playing that now? It's like so obscure. And then you kind of find out like 2 or 3 YouTubers did it, and you're like, okay, cool. But yeah, so that's the plan. I think it should be interesting, even if you're not a content creator. I'm trying to keep it interesting because it's universal, right? It's like the question is, how are you? Who are you? How are you going to? How would you like to prevent depression? And then second, like the are you looking for a way, like a purpose in life and people you're gonna serve, things like that. And then the last one, is who's not interested in new stuff and new gamings and things like that, right? Yeah, I have a mic because I'm streaming, Nicholas. But anyway, so no, I won't be playing a new game, not today. Feel free to join the community and suggest it to others though, because there's always people looking for a new game to play. I was invited. It's so funny. My daughter, I stopped playing Minecraft a few weeks ago, and I've never gotten so many invitations to play Minecraft in my whole life. Like, my daughter, hey, I want to play Minecraft. Hey, what's going? Like, I've been playing tons of Minecraft right now. Where's the server? And I'm like, you were on it for 5 months, so I didn't use it. I stopped paying for it. Oh, that's too bad. Like, give me a break. And then just yesterday, I get another tech. Hey, I'm doing a big Minecraft event. You want to be part of the Minecraft event? And I'm like, no, not if I'm going to be consistent. And I'm sick of Minecraft. I hate to say it, because Minecraft is a great game. A lot of people love it. A lot of people live in that game. Like they're doing what I'm doing right now in Stardew, and that's just what they do. They like doing it, and that's totally valid. But as soon as I got seasick from it, and as soon as I was like, I don't know what to do here. I don't want to play this anymore. I'm like, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to force it anymore. Plus, I'm really enjoying being Stardew. Like, it's just so fun. You take a multiple breaks from exactly. I think you have to. Like, that's kind of game. There's so much you can do, and then they hit you with an update, and you're like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then you're like, okay, how many more? I'm gonna go get a mod. I'm gonna go get another thing. I'm gonna get whatever. And then as you get all these mods and whatnot, it becomes a little bit more interesting, and then you kind of you phase out. Totally fine. My daughter started playing Love in Deep Space. Don't judge her. Well, do judge her. Judge her harshly. And she's talking about kind of the events and the conversations and all the cool like new things that are happening. And my gotcha senses started tingling, and I'm like, what? Do I want to play that again? No, I'm not going to be playing any more gotcha games. It makes me crazy. Being in SMP and new mods help. Yeah. But yeah, not a long-term play. Yeah, there's some people that will be on there 10 years. Same world, right? Yeah. I really burn out of Minecraft, but my creativity does come in sprints rather than long-term projects. Wholesomel, my son, he will just drill in a straight line for an hour. He likes doing that. And yeah, Minecraft, you can do whatever you want and play however you want. But dude, no, not me. Ironically, yesterday as Sunday, I was in my room, I was playing Stardew. What was I doing? I was sitting in the quarry, you know, now I think about it. You know, just chewing through rock, doing exactly what I just said my son does in 3D. I was doing it in 2D, not different. Like, exactly. I mean, and really, if you're vibing, right? If you got a decent music playing and you're just there like, sure, whatever gets you, you know, whatever gets you there. My, I have been looking at definitely not StarCraft. Stardew. I'm not smart enough for StarCraft or World of Warcraft or any of those. They're just, I'm not a strategy guy. The song sounds like mouth sounds. Gross. It sounds like someone chewing as music. No. Goodbye. That is my least favorite thing about anime. When they start doing the like the chewing sound or the when they like when they take a sip of something, they have to make this really aggressive mouth sound, and I'm like, don't like, yuck, gross. I know, it's just that sound is immediately, I'm like, that sounds like someone is eating a Snickers in my ear. I'm good. Chewing gum while eating a Snickers. No. What was I saying? Anyway, I was looking at mods for Stardew, and not because I want to change the game. The game is fine. But I think I want to change the look of it a little bit, because not that I think it's not cool. It's a very cool looking game. Like he put a ton of work into it. Makes sense. But you can get packs that like will make it a bit like more purple, make the grass wave a little bit more. And I'm such a sucker for those kind of mods that have like a little bit more look and a little bit more res and a little bit more, you know, pizzazz. And it doesn't change the game any, it just makes it look different. That Minecraft, my favorite mods were ones that would like just add resolutions and add textures and add, you know, more better light and shaders, and like I like those things. That was way more fun than adding features to the Minecraft. Yeah, I think I might. The only thing I got to make sure I do is I back up my save file, because I don't want to screw that up. I am now 60 hours in to this game, and if I like lost that, I think I might actually cry, because I'm really digging where I'm at. So we'll see, because I saw some really cute ones that, you know, turn the land purple, and not the land, but like the house and the trees, and like give it a kind of a purple hue, and then change the menu a little bit, like that kind of stuff. If I'm gonna marry the purple girl, let's go all in on purple. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Today on the channel, on the show, that's how we're gonna say it, because I'm a TV guy, is we're gonna be talking about depression. Actually, we're gonna talk about how to prevent depression. Like, really, the mission behind the content today is to go through an article and then a video about, on one side, what the signs are, kind of like how you know things are kind of going sideways on you. You know, I need to change some habits here. And then the other side is ways that you can check your brain if you're sliding into it. So I think both of those are going to be helpful. We're going to do a quick Devo on. Wow, that's terrible too. I'm really just going to delete half this playlist. Yeah, we're going to be going through a bit of a Devo too. So there you go. Shall we get started, or does anybody have anything they want to say from a you know, AMA or anything before we get kicked off? Otherwise, we will just launch right into it. Up to you. If not, I'll slowly make my way towards the content. 3, 2, 1, launch. Let's go. Yeah, all right. This is good. I could listen to that all day. I'm not sure it's the right vibe for what we're talking about, but dang. I mean, it's blues. Kinda, right? So, yeah, there you go. Ironic. Okay, so what I wanted to do, I wanted to start, and this is a very famous passage. We actually reference it a lot on this channel. Let me pray first, actually, before we jump into this thing. God, thank you for the day. Thank you for stream. Thank you for the community online. Thank you for the technology to let us do this. For those who are here and want to hang out together, pray for those who need to hear this message that you draw them here. Pray for us who are here listening and that we can learn that wouldn't be trivia, but actually maybe bring a bit more joy to us. Help me to make it applicable to our faith, but also to our practical side. Help my words, and thank you. You're good to us. Amen. So if you remember, the story of Elijah in 1 Kings 19 is after he had his big Mount Carmel moment, right? Where, you know, he conquered the bad guys and God showed himself, and it was a whole, like, just awesome. I was reading something. I went to Gemini and I said, hey, so here's what I'm going to be doing. Here's what I'm going to be looking at. Give me some ideas for like how to talk about it from a Christian content creator perspective. And it did a very fun thing. And it said the sentence, Elijah had a viral video moment. And I'm like, you know what? He kind of did. You know what I think my issue is? I think I'm just not supposed to be on shuffle. Let me just go back here. And I'm going to do this. And we'll turn off shuffle. We'll play it as it was meant to be played. Yeah. So he had this viral moment where things are going really, really good. And like he has conquered, I think it was 700 or 900 or something like that, of the evil prophets and priests, and then God shows up in a miraculous way and like just proves that God is with him and God is with Israel and that everybody needs to convert. Like it was a big moment. And then he immediately slips into a massive funk, just like a massive funk. I'm gonna be really distracted by all this because it's not quite the vibe that I usually listen to. Not quite the same, which is, yeah. All right, forgive me. I am gonna try to find music I can actually listen to because my brain is just so distracted by that new list. Anyway, so he immediately after this he goes off to the woods. He just leaves, right? Let me just read it. It says, Ahab told Jezebel, Ahab's the king, Jezebel's the queen, all that Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword, right? Like, so Jezebel was on team bad guy. Ahab was the king of Israel, and was, he'd married the wrong woman. I mean, Jezebel, everybody knows that's kind of bad, but she was on team bad guy, and he had just slaughtered like hundreds of her prophets, or her priests, right? The people that were leading her religion. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, so may the gods do to me and more also if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by this time tomorrow, right? Like she threatens his life. That's it. And she's super crazy, super powerful. Ahab's not going to stop her. She has access to all kinds of power and influence and whatnot. She obviously knows where he is now because the messenger found him, right? And so like so even though yesterday he had a massive, huge moment where God showed up in power and proved that Elijah was right and that God was on his side, and he ran away, right? Then he was afraid and he arose and ran for his life and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a broom tree, and he asked that he might die, saying, it is enough now. Lord, I take my life away, for I am no better than my father's, right? So he gets absolutely funk, totally down, such a mess, not only afraid, but exhausted, like emotionally exhausted. They actually, I read a book called Unmasking Male Depression a while back. And one of the things it talked about was adrenal letdown, which is a very fascinating thing, which is basically like when something great happens, or you psych yourself up for a job, or you go and do a thing, or you play sports, or you like whatever it is that, you kind of secrete all of your adrenaline because you keep going, and then like you use it all up and you just get tired. Well, that adrenaline gland, or that adrenaline juice, is there's no more left. It needs time to charge back up. And that letdown, when you're done, next day you wake up, or whatever, and you just feel crappy. Not necessarily because the world got worse, and not because like life is bad. You actually had a really good day yesterday. You had did a lot of work the next that week, and all of a sudden, like, you're hormonally drained and you just feel crappy. It referenced this story in that section about adrenal letdown, and I was like, man, that is so accurate, especially for me when I was a pastor, because it, like, everything kind of led up to Sunday. It's like Monday, day off, Tuesday, office time, Wednesday, some counseling, some meetings, did prayer meeting, and then Thursday, and then Friday you're writing a sermon, and then Saturday, and then Sunday's the big day, and you do all your stuff, and then but come Sunday evening or Monday, there's nothing left in the tank. You're exhausted, super tired, and like, why do you feel like garbage every Monday? Well, part of it is adrenal letdown. And so he goes and he lays down to sleep under the broom tree. He's like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. This job sucks. I don't want to be here anymore. Even though yesterday was great, today I just feel like I want to do anything. I don't even want to be alive. And behold, an angel touched him and said to him, arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was at his head a cake baked on hot stones in a jar of water. And he ate and drank and lay down again. And the angel of the Lord came a second time and touched him and said, arise and eat, for the journey is too great for you. And he arose and ate and drank and went in the strength of that food for 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the Mount of God. So God's response to Elijah could have been a myriad things. So think back in your own story. You as a person, you as a content creator, you as a parent, you as whatever, a student, and when you felt crappy or down, and you went and talked to a friend, or you went and told your mom or your dad, or you went and told a counselor, or you went and told a doctor, what was the advice that they gave? Often they'll try to solve your problem. Often they'll try to tell you, like it's not that bad, and have you tried this, and have you tried that, and have you tried this, and have you tried that? Sometimes, when God's response could have been, a miracle. All of a sudden, poof, he feels better. Didn't do that. He could have been, like, here's 10 reasons why you need to get off your butt, or I'll, kill you or something. Here's a lecture about theology and how all the ways you're misunderstanding my goodness and grace and my plan, right? Give him a good talking to. But he didn't. Instead, he chose, God sent a messenger, God sent an angel to let him have a nap and a snack. Like, he needed sleep, and he needed some food, and he needed a break, and he needed some time of care to be taken care of. It wasn't go and make yourself some food. Yeah, you're not you when you're hungry. Exactly. You literally, right? It's like he didn't say, go make yourself some food. He gave him food. And he said, and then what's remarkable is that it happened twice. He wakes up, he eats and drinks, he feels a little bit better. He goes back and he lays down again, and he goes back to sleep. And an angel of the Lord came a second time and touched him and said, okay, here's another nap and a snack. We admit the journey is too great for you, right? That because we know that the path you're on and where you're going and what you're about to do, thank you for the lurk, is really hard. It is sympathetic. It isn't like, okay, sure, I'll take you to heaven now, or get up, you've had 2 meals, get going. It was an admission that, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. And so here's some food and go. You go to your next thing. So 2 days of a break. Let the adrenaline gland, let all the hormones come back. Get some food in his belly, nice and warm. Have some good water, and then keep moving. The reason I bring that up is because I saw an article that was called "How to Prevent the Onset of Depression." Right, as in, when, like, if Elijah was on Horeb and he knew what was going to happen the next day, Or are there things he could have done to put him in a different spot? And then this next one here, the video called Micro Habits That Fuel Depression. So like I said, both sides. One is prevention. One is how do you know that what you're doing is adding to it? And so I wanted to go through this because I think a lot of people on the internet, a lot of people who are on Twitch, a lot of people who are content creators, a lot of people who are creatives, a lot of people who struggle with mental health issues or learning disabilities or any of that kind of stuff. I think we all have something in common in that this is a struggle, right? It's a struggle that we feel a little bit worse. We see things a little bit, darker, or we try really hard, but we keep, kind of failing and it messing us up. And so the question is, is there a way to catch before we end up under the broom tree, catch before we end up with take my life, I'm done, I'm just so done, right? And so let's talk about a little bit how to see from our own perspective when we feel like we're drifting into that funky place, drifting into that bad place. Some of us, especially those who live alone or those who don't have a ton of you 5 other places, all right, yeah, that's all right. Especially those who live alone, especially those who are, don't have boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, family around, mom, dad, they're just by themselves. It's hard to see when you're going downhill. I was talking to somebody recently about mental health medication, like taking whatever to make them feel better. And I said, one of the things you got to be careful with is, hi, Samus. Yeah. One of the things you gotta be careful with is that if you take this mood medication and it doesn't work, you don't have anybody in your life like around immediately to kind of go, hey, like you're really falling into a bad place. All those thoughts in your head are untrue. Your medication is not working. It's working against you. You just don't have that. So be really, you got to be really, really careful, and then find some people that you can trust that know you and love you and are like, you know what, you need to figure some stuff out because there's something wrong with the way you're thinking. And for me, I know for me, I go in waves, right? I will go, super lots of energy, lots of creativity, lots of stuff. And then I will, use it all up, down here, and I'll just feel like crap. And I'll just like, okay, I got to keep going. I got to slog on. I've had a thought in my brain for the last like 3, 4, 5 months. And I just keep telling myself, do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing. And it's because there's part of me that's like, wants to lash out or wants to be lazy or wants to say, say something that, I don't know, just like don't let the feelings win, do the right thing. And how do I know what the right thing is? Because of scripture, because of habit, because of, I've done the wrong thing and I've learned from that. Do the right thing, do the right thing. And it just usually means that I'm getting tired. Things are starting to wind down. So I wanted to go through this a little bit, and then we're going to look at this short video. Feel free to interrupt along the way. It's 2 a.m. Dishes are piled in the sink. The countertop is covered with crumbs. I'm in bed talking to ChatGPT about how to become enlightened and other practical topics. I know I'm drifting likely into depression. Right? Okay. Raise your hand if you understand that feeling where you should be asleep, but you're not. You should have done whatever easy, simple, fairly simple task, vacuum, make your bed, brush teeth, go for a shower, but you haven't. That right? Exactly. That you are, you're on your phone when you shouldn't be. You're looking, you're doing things that aren't necessarily very healthy on there, even though it's like you're like kind of fooling yourself into believing you're actually studying, you're learning, or listening, or whatever. And you can feel that sense of, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but for whatever reason, I can't make myself, get to the shower, can't make myself go out, can't make myself eat a vegetable, can't make myself call a friend. There's something in me that's preventing that, right? I know I felt that. It's easy to get really self-indulgent, really pitying or distance myself. I'm fortunate that I have, a loving family that will be like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on there? And it's helpful. Not everybody has that though. So what is drift? Long before my mood changes, my daily patterns do. Long before my mood changes, my daily patterns do. That's a better way to say it. Depression doesn't come like a supernova, combusting my life into flaming bits of stars. Sadness doesn't descend upon me, provoking tears to run down my face. Despair and hopelessness never appear out of nowhere. What happens instead? Several subtle shifts from my baseline. Meals eaten at unusual times or not eating at all, missing my walk around the block, sleeping more or sleeping less. One missed run is life. But a missed walk, binging on ice cream, and late bedtime is in one day is a pattern change. This isn't failure, it's data. And I love that last sentence. This isn't failure, it's data. It is, I'm a huge believer in introspection. I think it's so critical, especially when you're alone, especially when you feel misunderstood, especially when you got a lot of things going sideways, or you have a new medication, or you're on, doing a new medical thing, or you're trying new spiritual stuff, or you've got a new job or whatever. To be more sensitive to yourself, more introspective of how am I feeling? Why am I saying that? What did I just say? Am I more grumpy? Am I more, like whatever than I was before? It's sometimes hard to do because it's easy to fool yourself. Be like, well, no, I'm not more grumpy. Everybody's just dumber, everybody's being a jerk. I'm not more tired. The job is just harder. I'm not more, perfectionist. It's just that people aren't doing things right. I'm not more controlling. It's just that, nobody's listening. Nobody's doing what they're supposed to do. Like, it's easy to lie to ourselves about this kind of stuff. In the same way, it's like, I'm just having ice cream because I deserve it. I worked hard today. I'm missing a walk. I need to miss a walk because, I just don't feel like it today. That's okay to not feel like it. Right? Staying up late. Well, I can't sleep, and that's okay. It's very easy to justify our own attitude and self-indulgences to ourselves, which is why that external conversation is important. But at the same time, I think it is up to us to step outside of ourselves and say, like, what was I yesterday? What was I last week? Is there something I need to be paying attention here? I feel called out, right? And welcome to the XtianNinja channel, where we call you out. Hopefully we'll provide an answer rather than just make everybody feel bad. Okay, so data. It's data. Pay attention. Why this matters. I've named this depression drift because when my daily routine shifts, I'm at risk of falling into a depressive episode. When patterns are loosening, it usually means my life is tightening. This is a pivotal moment when I can do something. Identifying changes early helped me recalibrate. Scientists who study mood disorders have found that sleep and changes in routine are often precursors to depressive or manic phases. I think that the problem is, right, if you have bad habits already right now, it's hard to be like, well, I just always stay up till 2. I'm just really bad at chores. I'm not good at calling people. I just don't like doing that. I don't have friends, so therefore, who am I going to hang out with? That kind of stuff. It's easy to kind of go, well, this is my habit. This is what I do. So how would I know? And that is the difference is basically going, well, now you're not in a pattern. Now you've fallen fully into the funk. Like you're living there. It is abnormal for you to not sleep well and not eat well and isolate yourself and talk down to yourself and see everybody either as an enemy or everybody is better than you, and to, fulfill self-indulgent things because, you feel bad on a consistent basis. Like that's supposed to be abnormal. If that's your normal, right, it means that you're not just sliding, you've slid, the past tense. And so therefore the changes that need to recalibrate are still applicable to you. It's just that happens to be that you are going, well, you know what, I haven't been recalibrating. And I know that one of the arguments is like, I've tried, right? I've tried to recalibrate. I've tried to do everything. I think one of the mistakes that a lot of people make when it comes to the recalibration is doing it all at once. I know that there's how I tend to see people. It's how I, I've done a lot of counseling, a lot of talking to folks, and it's like, well, what I need to do is I need to change my bedtime. I need to change my eating habits. I need to make sure I, set an alarm. Got to go for a walk. Got to make sure that I, call a friend. I'm going to make sure that I, go to the store and buy a bunch of vegetables because I'm going to eat those because there I'm going to throw out all of my junk food. I'm going to vacuum my bed and vacuum my floor, make my bed, and then you get a burst of energy. You do half of that or 3/4 of that, but then and you're okay. You're kind of white knuckling it for a couple days. And then on day 3, day 4, things start to slide. You're feeling a little bit worse. You're feeling more self-indulgent. And now you're beating yourself up. You're like, I thought I could make these changes. I thought I could fix it. I thought I could, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm the worst. Can't even do the most basic thing. Everyone is smarter than me. Everybody's better than me. Everyone has more self-control than me. This is just who I am. Blah. Now I'm going to go to my doctor and I'm going to get a bunch of medication and hope that fixes it. Right? I'm going to spend a bunch of money on stuff and hope maybe that'll fix it. It's all at once kind of thinking. Whereas the way that humans are is we're not good at stopping things, and we're better at replacing things. You can't just stop having snacks. You have to replace the snacks with better snacks. We're bad at stopping things, and we're also bad at trying to change incrementally, like singular habits slowly over time. But that's how we have to work. That's just how humanity is. You don't change everything. You change one thing, right? You change one thing. Tomorrow you get up 30 minutes earlier. You go to bed 30 minutes later. You turn off the light 30 minutes before, and you do that for a week, right? That's it. That's what you're doing. You just try to recalibrate your sleeping habit, but I still eat bad and I still this and I still that. Okay, fine. We'll work on that next week. We'll work on that next month. Consider this. If you starting now, start changing things once a week, once every 2 weeks, right? You'll have changed 26 things by next year. That's plenty. You know what I mean? And you've taken it over the course of an entire year. That is far more manageable. Even if you did it every 40 days, a new habit every 40 days. That means you've done it. You fixed 10 things in your life. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. By the next year, you're a different person because you worked on that. It's the all at once mentality screws you up. So that's why what she's talking about here is seeing the patterns, things falling apart, and going, I need to recalibrate. That recalibration can be, once you've got the habit built, a lot easier. Scientists who study mood disorders have found that sleep and changes in routine. I already read that. Interpersonal and social rhythm therapy. I love it when they name things that are so obvious. It's a delight to me. Having friends, that's what that is. It's not social rhythm therapy. Maintaining daily routine and rhythms support emotional steadiness. I'm just gonna highlight that so that y'all can read it. If you don't have a rhythm, that could be one reason you're feeling pretty unsteady. If you don't have a routine, it is going to contribute to your unsteadiness, right? It's like having the walls on the bowling alley. I don't know, your bowl, and you got the gutters, and then you've got if you knew bowling, they can put down this little kind of wall on the side, so you don't get a gutter. You kind of bounce along the side. The daily routine is the little wall that keeps your life from falling in the gutter. You might be bouncing around, dunk, 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 and maybe not get a strike every time. But the fact that you're no, I have this rhythm. I get up around this time. I go to bed around this time. I eat this time. I shop on this day. I call my mom on this day. That's what I do. Generally speaking, having a rhythm, right? Exactly. And that keeps, your ball might be bouncing, but if you don't have it, you will hit the gutter. And then if you keep falling into the gutter all the time, you're never going to get the pins, and you're always going to feel crappy and like a failure. Whereas you put those little things, it doesn't have to be a giant plan. You don't have to change everything, schedule it down to the 15 minutes. It's just general patterns, right? I have to eat lunch even if I don't feel like it. I have to go to bed at, by 10 p.m. or by 11 p.m., even if I don't feel like it. because that is critical. That rhythm is what keeps me from from falling apart, right? My feelings say stay up late, binge something. My brain says, you know what? Actually, that would probably be bad because I will be stealing from tomorrow something that I need today, or stealing from tomorrow for something today when I'm not doing that anymore. It takes a lot less self-control when it's like a rhythm or a habit than it is like you sitting there white knuckling your way through this stuff all at once. A treatment for bipolar disorder. This isn't just my experience. A treatment for bipolar disorder is based on this, called interpersonal and social rhythm therapy. Researchers found that when daily rhythms are stabilized, it acts as a protective factor against future depressive and as well as hypomanic and manic episodes. Consistency in sleep time, meal time, and social interactions all support a healthy balance in mood, which is a no-duh thing to say, right? Consistency in sleep, eating properly, and hanging out with folks it can help. The thing is, the difference here is the proactivity, right? It's like, okay, especially as a Christian, right? So as a Christian, we talk about Christian disciplines. As a content creator, it's even more so, because if you don't have the rhythm to your life, this is when I stream, this is when I draw, this is when I create, this is when I train, this is when I edit, this is when whatever it is you do, you're always going to feel like you're behind. You're always going to feel like you're not doing what you were called to do, what you said you were going to do. You're always letting down your audience and things like that. Whereas if you have a general rhythm, and I mean, like, at some point on Tuesdays, I make a short, right? Sometime between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m., whatever that works. I know I have to do it, so I'm going to do it. And if it's 9 p.m. and I haven't done it, well, I know what I have to do, right? Things like, it doesn't have to be super crazy intense, at the beginning, right? All right, Jones, have a good one. But you kind of going, I need sleep. Well, as a Christian, you need Sabbath. As a human, you need Sabbath. So therefore, committing to going, well, I am going to take a day off. Usually it'll be Sunday, right? I am going to take Sunday off. I'm not going to do content creation. I'm not going to do work. If you have to work on Sunday, you're going to find another day for it. But like, I am going to go to church, or I'm going to go to my small group, or I'm going to go to the online church, or I'm going to go to the online group, whatever it is. I am gonna go to it. Doesn't matter what I think. I'm gonna go, or I'm gonna participate in some kind of way, whatever it is, because I know for a fact if I don't, my whole next week is gonna be messed up. I know for a fact if I don't, that it's a sign of me basically saying I want to feel worse next week. If you can find that consistency and then eat some food, it will keep you from going into the manic or hypomanic episode that you don't want. For me, this means when I regularly meditate upon waking, after I brush the fuzz out of my mouth, listen to CBC's Early Edition as I make breakfast, eat my dinner around 6:30 p.m., jog around 3 times a week, talk to my friend Patrina on Sunday mornings, and turn my lights out by 10 p.m., depression or mania have less opportunity to creep in. Right? Sort of same thing, right? Well, for me, when I wake up and I do my devos, right? I brush my teeth. I listen to a thing, my favorite, whatever your favorite thing is, whether it be news or, watch something about gaming or whatever. Watch my favorite YouTube video. As I make breakfast, make sure I eat my food, eat dinner around around the same time. Get out of the house for whatever that is, and then talk to a friend or go to church for, like going to church and hanging around folks, other Christians, and then I actually have a relatively decent sleep time, all that funky feelings have less opportunity to creep in. And I know that all sounds like stuff you've heard before, but I really want you to hear that, because it's something that is so easy for us to excuse in ourselves. You know what I mean? It's like, that's good for everybody else. You don't understand how bad it is for me. Yeah, that's good for everybody else, but I don't really have anybody to cook for me. I don't really have a good church. I have health issues, so I can't walk. You don't understand, etc. XYZ. But I would argue that there is something within those things that we talked about, you know, attendance to a spiritual Christian thing once a week, doesn't matter what that is, anything, right? To do your devos at some point after waking up, sure. Or, you know, and watching something you enjoy, or doing something you enjoy, or listening to something you enjoy regularly. It's your favorite show, it's your favorite, you know, favorite podcast, it's your favorite streamer, it's your, you know, like wake up and I say hi to, you know, like Jadek shows up every, you know, before stream, hello, you know, I'm off to school now. Like it's in the habit. Eating breakfast, right? Maybe you can't make yourself bacon, eggs, toast, hash browns, orange juice, and coffee, but you can make yourself, you know, a piece of toast. You can have a bowl of cereal. It's like, well, that doesn't count. Yes, it does. It really does. If you're the kind of person who doesn't eat well and your rhythms are all off, and you make yourself sit down and eat a bowl of whatever, that's pretty good. That's really good. Pat yourself on the back. Like, okay, but it was chocolate Lucky Charms. Doesn't matter. We're not trying to fix all the problems. You need breakfast. That's a habit you're trying to build. That's a breakfast you're going to eat. You will burn the calories because, you know, you just first thing in the morning. You did it. Congratulations. Like, well, what aren't I supposed to be having, you know, shredded wheat and an egg? Calm down, dude. Like, what you need is food. What works for you? What's your food? Like, do you want toast and jam? Do you really like an egg? Do you want, you know, make porridge or oatmeal? Like, do you want to have, what would get you up? Like, even a freaking protein bar. Like, what would get you to kind of go, okay, this is, you know, that's food. You ate food. Exactly. And that is more than enough for that phase of life, right? I have this cereal, or I get this thing. Maybe I'm a kid. Maybe you think, you know, whatever, childish. I don't care. That's how I eat breakfast. It's the only way. Otherwise, I don't eat. And then you eat around 6:30. You have dinner, and it's like, wow, I don't know what to eat. I don't know what to do. That's where the plan comes in, right? Yeah, same breakfast regularly. Yeah. You don't have to decide. That's what I'm about to say with the dinner thing, right? Say you go to the, whether it be grocery store or like we have something called M&M here, and it's all frozen foods, and it is, you can go there for anywhere between $4 and $9. You can get yourself a meal that you stick in the microwave. And it's not like your $3, you know, hungry man meal. It's not like some, you know, garbage, super high sodium, you know, barely food, you know, paste. It's good. It's good stuff. But you go there, you microwave that, and then you eat that. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm eating microwave food, and, you know, like, that's kind of sad. Dude, but if it helps you eat supper, if it lets you eat dinner, that's good, right? It's better than you not eating at all, or it's better than you just sitting down and feeling crappy, and then at 7:30 having a bag of chips, or you know, like falling into some kind of funky thing. I guess health good, vegetables better, right? But at the same time, where are you at right now, right? Well, I gotta have something to eat, and I gotta have something in the freezer. So you go and you buy 10 of them, right? And they just live in your freezer. That's where they sit. Or you, if you're into it, right? And you're in a kind of a good mood, you pre-package, you pre-cook. You make a whole big pile of chili or a whole big pile of something, right? And you just stick it in there. And it's like, well, when I feel crappy, that's what I microwave. It's there waiting for me. On the days that I feel better, I can make myself do that. Or if I don't feel better, I can go buy frozen stuff and it'll be there. And this might be something that you've never thought of. Might I suggest, and you're gonna hate this, okay? You're gonna absolutely hate this, right? Ask the people in your spiritual community, your Christian community, if they'd be willing to cook you some food. And immediately, you're like, I can't do that. I would never do that. I would never admit I could do that. That sounds like such an imposition. Who am I even supposed to ask? How would I even do that? Okay, just hold on. If there was a funeral, or if there was some kind of big crisis, your church or your group or your whatever has somebody that God has appointed that is that's what they do. They make a casserole, they make some food, they make meatballs, or they do something, they go shopping. For them, that is the most important thing in the world. They want to make sure that you have eaten, because they know that that's really hard to do when you're in the middle of a crisis. Well, I'm not in a crisis. I'm in an emotional funk. Doesn't matter. That's still a crisis, right? That would be amazing, because I know the old ladies around our church. That's what I'm saying, right? Hello, Prince Theseus. Good to see you. Hello, Doug. Welcome. That's what I'm saying. If you contact your pastor, or you contact, like whoever your friend or whatever, and you just kind of say, listen, I am in a place right now, I'm not doing well. I'm not saying you have to feed me forever, obviously, and that's not what you're asking for. But could somebody out there please just make me like 10 frozen meals, because I'm not eating well. Here's my dietary restrictions. Here's the stuff that I hate. If you put a bunch of this in it, I can't eat it because it's gross, or it's gonna make me sick. But hey, this is it. That's it. The meal ministry was great when I grew up. Exactly. And they still exist. Those people still exist. The thing that changed is that people got afraid to ask, or they decided they didn't want a family people to know, or their church, or some junk, right? I appreciate that, Doug. This is it. I'm gonna pause on this because it's something that I think a lot of you guys are gonna struggle with if you have that you're in that place, and that is, you don't believe that you can ask. You don't think that your problem is bad enough. You think that your diet, or your needs, or your whatever is too complicated, or you feel like if you were to ask that, people would know some stuff, humbling yourself enough to go to your spiritual community full of Christians that love you, and going, I could use some help, is what they're for. Bear one another's burdens is part of that. It also means share your burdens with each other because you need some help. Thessalonians talks about how you shouldn't be living off the church. Don't quit your job so that everybody can cook for you. That's not good. What's up, Barracuda? What it's saying is that you could, you call them up, you say, I'm in trouble. I have issues. I'm in a bad place. I can't do it. Could someone please, cook me up some this? And I promise you that there's someone who will help. And even if it's like, well, no, we can't cook for you, because we're online, we're a digital community, I can't send anything. Here's what we can do. We can send you some gift cards, or we can order you a pizza, or we can, do something to make sure that you are, you have something going on. Faith communities want to feed you, and they love doing that. And there are old ladies, and there are young ladies, and there are guys, dude, there's some guys out there that if you ask them to cook for you, it would be the greatest thing in the history of the universe for them. I got a friend who, he loves it, man. Like, he loves cooking. He's a very busy guy, got too many jobs, but he's like, if you ask him for food, he's like, that's my hobby. That brings me joy to do. So yes, and all of a sudden you've got these amazing dishes that show up to your house because this person loves doing that, right? They could offer to order you an Uber back and forth to the local food bank. Well, exactly, right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? They will try to help. If you have, and if you don't have a faith community, and you need one, let us help. Tell us in the taco Discord. Send me a text, send somebody, a leadership, somebody anywhere, and go, I don't have a faith community. I don't have these people that you're talking about. I don't have a pastor, and I don't have a group, and I don't have that. I will work to see if I can find you one that's compatible with you and where you are. It's hard to do if you want one like live and where you live, because I don't live where you live, but we can work at it, right? These problems can be solved. Okay, I'll get off that topic, but really lean on your people. They really do want to care for you. And like, how many times have you said okay, I won't get off of it. How many times have you said to somebody else, hey, if you need something, let me know, right? If you've said the, okay, here you go in chat. How many? I don't want to even look. Okay, how many of you in chat put an emote in chat if you've said the words? If you need anything, let me know. To anybody. Yes, they match nerds with in-person churches. Yep. Yeah, there you go. All right, there you go. Yeah. Save Point Ministries. Is that what they are? Yep, I can hook you up with him. Nope, I know that guy. Yep, you have. Yep, you have. Steve, that's his name. Yeah. I will hook you up. That's the guy. That's what he does. That's his whole passion in life, is hooking up nerds and people on the internet with churches. That's what they do. We can point you that direction. In fact, I'm going to write a note right now to contact Steve so I can get this crap together, because there's a lot of people who don't have this. I don't know. I can just reference you to them, but I'm sure he has like a contact info on his website and stuff. Where's my pen? Well, I know. I want to ask Steve directly and kind of go, what's the best method? If someone were to ask me personally, what do you want me to do? And I bet the answer isn't, put info at whatever. Be like, well, contact this, contact that. So I'll talk to him. I'll do that after stream today. Okay. Sleep and bipolar disorder research. There is a well-documented evidence that when your sleep is disrupted, even for a few nights, in individuals with bipolar disorder, it increases vulnerability to emotional changes. In mood disorders, sleep isn't just rest, it's regulation. Certainly is for me. That is so true, right? I'm not gonna, you don't need to harp on that one. Y'all aren't, who said it? Quiz, right? It was like, you aren't you when you're hungry. You aren't you when you're sleepy, right? And if you have like sleep apnea, where like you literally, and you don't know that you're waking yourself up all night long, and that you've never hit REM sleep and you feel like crap. I know folks who have gotten a sleep apnea machine and it has changed their life. It fixes their health issues. It fixes their mental health issues. It fixes their relationships. It fixes their work. Like, it just fixes things, man. Hey, thank you for the follow. Ringularity. Oh, that's a cool name. Because your sleep is massively important, right? And if you are pulling all-nighters or whatever, and the other one is caffeine, right? Like if you're living on caffeine and it's keeping you awake and just kind of going, and for me, I had to do this, right? Because I like coffee too much. I like Rogue Energy too much. And so therefore, like, my thing is, once you get to 2 p.m. maximum, I want to stop at noon, but if you get to 2 p.m. max, you need to stop drinking caffeine. Like, I'm at this, here's where I'm at right now, or you guys can't see. Hold on. I can do this. Right? That's how much I've got left. Okay? So I've got till 2 to finish it. Yeah. Ha. And so if you like, yeah, if you're a caffeine person, what if I genuinely can't sleep on time? Well, so there are people that have sleep issues, right? Say whether it's because you have some kind of physical disorder, whatever. Let's just assume you don't have some kind of crazy disorder that makes your brain hormones not actually put you to sleep. It's very, very rare. But my guess, based on all the stuff that I've learned, is that before you go to bed, right, between the hours of, let's say, 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. and 11, like when you're supposed to go to bed, right, you are doing things that prevent sleep. For example, you're looking at blue light, right? You're looking at your phone, you're looking at your computer, you're looking at, like, you're supposed to stop doing that like 45 minutes to an hour before you want to go to bed, right? That you are eating food that has caffeine in it, right? Whether it be, I don't eat with food with caffeine in it. Well, did you have a chocolate, right? Caffeine can sneak up on you. Like, it's like there are things in there, or eating it all. Like, there's some people that if you eat right before you go to bed, you actually will feel you'll have a bad sleep. Your body won't be able to process it properly. So you stop eating, an hour and a half, 2 hours before you go to bed. Your room, is it dark? Right? If you have a room that's full of light, you're like, think it's cool. Right? This glows and that glows, and my computer has rainbows, and I've got this, a night light, and I've got, LEDs all over the place that are making light. That light, even if it's not very much, can affect your sleep, affect your ability to go to sleep. The racing thoughts, like right before you go to bed, if you haven't spent time quiet that day, or you're journaling, or you're talking to some folks, you're getting it out of your system, whatever it is, hey, I went through a bad thing, or somebody said something mean, or I feel kind of crappy today, or, I did something really exciting, really interesting. I've got all these ideas, and you, at no point did you write any of them down, or pray through them, or talk to a friend about it. They're all there. And you've been kind of putting that off by going to work and watching the thing and playing the game and binging a show, and just like, as soon as you try to go to bed, those thoughts are going to come back, because they have to be dealt with. You've got like a backlog of thinking that's going to go sploosh, and then that's where it's all going to happen. That's why I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. That's why when you go to the shower, and all of a sudden you have all your greatest ideas and lots of things are happening, and it's because you have found a place with white noise where you don't have a screen in front of you and you have to think for a minute. And all those thoughts that you pushed back are able to kind of leak out. Okay. Also, probably one of the reasons why you don't want to, especially if you have depression or you're feeling really bad, you don't want to think because you feel bad about it. But the trick isn't to not think. The trick is to process those thoughts in a healthy way. So all those things, and it could be a multitude of those things, will affect whether or not you can sleep. That's why I often drive without music. Gives me that 10 or 20. Yeah, exactly. Some people do that for sure. I've been sleeping past 4 a.m. almost every day consistently ever since I turned 16. So your clock, like, you can set your clock, right? When you wake up, then, like, if you're 16, I'm assuming you go to school. That means you got to be to school by 8, unless you're homeschooled. But, like, you can reset your clock. That is the thing. So if you go from 4 till 10, right, and that's your hours, you can bring it back over the course of time, right? Like, you could say, I get 6 hours. This is my 6 hours. That's how long I get. Be like, well, you can bring it back over the course of, say, a week or two, right? Can't do it immediately. Like, if you're like, I'm going to go to bed at 10 p.m. tonight, it won't work. But if you're like, tonight I'm going to go to bed 20 minutes earlier. Next day I'm going to go to bed 20 minutes earlier. Next day I'm going to go to bed 20 minutes earlier. And maybe you feel a little cruddy because, you got up a little earlier. Like, you got up 20 minutes earlier, you got up 15 minutes earlier. You're like, oh, that 15 minutes was no fun. It's over the course of say an entire month. Say you take a month to do it. You back up 10 minutes every day. Like, so you're 4 a.m. Tomorrow I'm going to get up 10 minutes earlier. So you get 10 minutes earlier every 3 days. Let's just do that. So 3 days, you get up at 10 or 9:50. And then for 3 days, you're getting up at 9:50. 3 days later, you set it for 9:40. 3 days later, you set it for 9:30. 3 days later, you set it for 9:20. 3 days later, you set it for 9:10, right? So that's now you're about 2.5 weeks in, and you backed it up an hour. Now you're going to sleep at 3 a.m. and waking up at 9 because you've given your body a chance to adjust. If you, like I said at the very beginning, if you're trying to do it all at once, you can't handle it. But if you do little increments over the course of a long period of time, right? Turning 19 soon, but now I'm sleeping at like 5, 6 a.m. Wake up feeling exhausted. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, dude. So there is a ton of reasons, right? mental health reasons, physical health reasons. It could be that you've got racing thoughts. It could be that you have, you know, like you have a lot of other things going on physiologically or mentally or whatever. There's reasons, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like I am hereby destined to never go to sleep before 6. It is just that you've gotten to the place where you're like, you know what, this is just me now. I'm not gonna fight this anymore. I'm gonna figure out how to deal with it. So therefore I will, yeah, a little bit of everything, exactly. You know, I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna live on coffee and Monster and you know, Red Bull and try not to bite anybody's head off and white knuckle through my day. Meanwhile, right, because you feel like crap, you're making bad decisions, you're grumpier, your relationships are kind of a mess, your thinking process is kind of screwed up, and you're feeling a lot worse about things than you should be, right? All that is affecting you, but you're like kind of trying to white knuckle it through life. It's not hopeless. It's just gonna take longer than you think it will, right? So one of the things, like for example, is accountability. Do you have somebody in your life that you can call at whatever time, you know, or send a text to, or that will check up on you once a week or something like that and go, how did you do? Because even just having to say out loud, I did terribly, will change how your brain functions, right? Because knowing that you're going to have to tell this person, even though they care about you and they're not going to do anything to you, that you're like, yeah, I failed again. You're gonna be like, I don't want to say that again. I don't want to do another week where I'm like, oh, I did crappy. I want to go there and be able to say, you know what, 2 out of the 7 days I did better. That would be a lot better. And all of a sudden, just having to say it out loud helps your improvement, right? But a lot of people, they don't have accountability. They don't take time to ask somebody, or do what do they call it? Sleep hygiene. That's the word. Sleep hygiene. If a lot of people don't even consider sleep hygiene as being a thing, right? Or someone kind of going, hey, you know what, you know, it could be worse and things are, you know, like I'm amazed that you're able to do what you're doing. Maybe you need some positivity too. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, sleep hygiene's a big one. Just go Google sleep hygiene. Like, it'll give you a list of 700 things. Because, you know, there's just a million ways that humans don't sleep. but if you do 2 or 3 of them and you do it over the course of a little while, you can change. I'm usually the support of my friends, so like they can hit me up and I can answer. Who do you reach out to? Singularity. Who do you reach out to in that way, and how often? I'll straight up ask you. Who do you reach out to and how often? Black Cherry Rogue, baby. I didn't put berries in it this time. I'm like, why is it so bland? Like, why? And I really liked it last time because I didn't put berries in it. I don't usually reach out till I'm bored. Okay, so that's step 1. Okay, let me ask you this then. Do you journal or meditate? Do you have any way that you process your thoughts privately, either in words or prayer or meditation? Do you do that regularly? And I guess the next question is, usually while showering, I take long showers and think. Okay, that's something, right? That's something. Usually, what the problem with showers when it comes to that kind of that thinking is it's disorderly. Okay, disorderly thinking. It's like where it all kind of crashes around. And it's like you have this thought and it kind of leads to that thought, what brings you back to that. And what was I thinking of before? And then you got song lyrics, and then you're thinking about a show, and then you're doing an imaginary interview with some celebrity that you'll never be able to meet. And then you're planning your shopping list and wait, I forgot about this. And like, it's all over the map. Like, that's usually what people are doing when they're in the shower. It's actually one of the hard parts about meditating is trying to line that up. And that's why I always recommend journaling, because having to formulate a sentence in English with your brain so that you can speak or write aloud what you are feeling and what you are thinking, it allows you to order your thinking, right? where you're sitting there and like, today I felt. Now you have to figure out a word. Sad, distracted, happy, excited. And here's some things that I was thinking about. And here's some things that happened. And oh yeah, and then you're like, okay, I gotta buy that thing. You go to another part of the page and make sure you buy the milk and eggs. And then you keep going with your journal exercise. When you get that orderly thinking connected to that time that you are spending, you end up having you don't have as many racing thoughts. You don't have as many things kind of bouncing around in your melon because you've let them out. Sometimes they don't have to even be that important. You're not like changing the world. It's not like an amazing idea. You're just getting them out of your brain. That's why talk therapy is so helpful. Why everybody should be doing talk therapy is because it's a way for you to force yourself to order your thoughts in a way that you have to communicate them to another, which is how you process. All talk therapy is trying to help you process thoughts so you can get to the conclusion that you already know but aren't getting there because you're not thinking properly, right? That's what it all is about. So I would say that there's lots and lots of changes you can make, but like don't do them all at once and don't beat yourself up, right? Like you want to be there for your friends. Great. Let me tell you this, you'll be a better friend if you can like if you can have some sleep and have more orderly thinking. Imagine if you got rid of all the distractions and all the rest of that stuff in your brain, and then someone asked you for advice and you were able to kind of go, oh, wait a minute. I can think straight, right? It'd make you a better caregiver. Does talking to myself count? No. Well, it's not bad, but it's also not great, right? It's kind of like the chewing gum equivalent of eating. Like, if you're hungry and you throw a piece of gum in your mouth and you're like, okay, that'll satiate the body and it'll do something. You're not adding calories. You're not adding health. You're not really doing anything. You're just kind of going through the motions, which is why it ends up being bouncing around thinking. Also, because you're not putting any more input in. Like, for example, any thinking that's wrong, any thinking that is lies, any thinking that is you beating yourself up, or for that matter, you puffing yourself up and thinking that you're all that and everybody else is wrong. You don't have anybody to kind of go, no, you're dumb, or actually, no, that you're wrong about that, because it never gets out. In the same way, when you are writing it out and you read it back to yourself, especially if you read it back to yourself as an impartial third party, this is one of the best ways that you can do this. If I were my friend and I were saying what I am reading right now, what would I say to my friend? I would say you are an arrogant jerk who just wrote out really terrible things. Maybe I should reconsider, right? It's that I strongly believe in writing things down. But if you can read back, right? We're good at justifying our own excuses, and I think it's important, but I'm right all the time. Exactly, right? It's important to regularly know or to understand that if you take the time to regularly speak out your thoughts, you'll be a healthier person mentally. You'll be a healthier person physically and spiritually and relationally. It's when it's all kind of bungled up inside and you're not letting it out, or you're the only one that talks to you, or you find yourself and the only people you talk to or only place you talk is in an echo chamber, right? The only people I tell is on Reddit, who tell me all the same things that I want to hear. The only people I tell are, my Twitter threads that are just as vehement and about stuff as I am. Like, you're not getting more input. You're not getting other opinions. You're not having to speak it aloud. You're not having to see that your look on your face. Other people don't have to see the look on your face while you're doing it. Like, it's just there. It's better than zero, but it's like chewing gum instead of having a meal. Like, you're still like, well, you can't live on gum. Exactly. Right. I've gone to bed, slept, and woke up, and I wouldn't even know I slept. I lose sense of time, feel like a mess, phone on the floor, dry mouth happens kind of often. Oh, dude, the dry mouth thing, man. Yeah, have I got, go look up TheraBreath mints. TheraBreath, TheraBreath mints. They are stellar for dry mouth, dude. I will pop one in the middle of the night and let it stay in my mouth. You'd be like, can't do that with candy. You can do that with xylitol. Actually, it's good for your teeth. So you can do that. It's that problem I can fix. No problem. They come in a package of 100. You get good for most of a year. But yeah, and then that's the thing. Like if you're passing out regularly, like if you're literally passing out, it means that your sleep hygiene isn't great because you're not preparing yourself for bed. You're not preparing your mind and your body and your sleeping environment. You are going until you physically can't go anymore, and then you pass out like a soldier being shot. You're just gone. You didn't choose it. Out of nowhere, your body gives up. If you live in body give up mode for that long, you're not going to live long, right? It means you're living on adrenaline and you're living on, like trying to just make things happen. Your body probably is sore. You probably have tummy aches, right? Like it's like you have headaches, that you get sick more, like all that stuff. That sleep hygiene that I'm talking about is so it solves a lot of problems. And just the way you described it, right, is I go to bed and I pass out. I pass out so hard that I drop things, and I am now like, I didn't choose. Once you decide to start practicing a bit more sleep hygiene, where you're like, I'm going to choose to go to bed. I'm going to choose to have, take time to meditate or have a shower or, whatever. About bottling it up and all. Everybody does, man. Everybody does. Nobody wants to share their deep dark thoughts. Nobody wants to share their weaknesses. Nobody wants to share the fantasies that they have about stuff that is embarrassing. Nobody wants to share their how insecure they are. Nobody wants to share how like the big plans of their life because they don't want to get shot down. Like everybody struggles with letting that stuff out. Even the most talkative person that that there's stuff that they are like, I would never share that with anybody, right? I keep that to myself. Everybody has that. But the problem is that the more you bottle up, and you can think of it this way, your thoughts, especially the really rough ones, right? The really, really rough ones, they're like meat, right? Say you got a piece of meat and you have to deal with that meat, like it or not. Somebody throws meat at you. There's a thought in your brain. It's good. It's bad. It's self-defeating. It is insulting. It is prideful. It is fantasy. Whatever it is. Here's a thought. Now you got a chunk of meat. What do you do with it? Right? If it was in your house, what would you do with it? Right? You're like, I need to deal with this. So you're gonna be going, well, I guess I could put it in the freezer. I'll just deal with it later, and you put it in the freezer. Right? Then you have another thought, you just put it in the freezer, and you have another thought and the meat, and you put it in the freezer. Eventually you're like, okay, the freezer's full. What do I gotta do with that? That's the I don't want to think about it box. And those are things that are just like there. Hey, thanks for the follow. I'm gonna now I gotta put things in the fridge. Problem with the fridge is that things don't stay there long. Okay, but I can't put it in the freezer anymore. That's all full, and I can't sleep. So I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Eventually, you start putting things in the fridge, and then the meat starts to rot and things start to fester. You take that box. You're like, I'm gonna go bury it. I'm gonna go bury the fridge in the backyard, and I'm gonna hope nothing happens. And all of a sudden, your backyard is smelly and bubbling and gross because you got all this festering meat because you didn't deal with it. Right? If you took that piece of meat and you dealt with it, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it away. I'm going to cook it. I'm going to eat it and deal with it and process it, put it through my system. Then it won't be there anymore. I'm going to go and give it to someone else and be like, hey, can you help me deal with this? That way it's dealt with. If you don't do those things and you just keep throwing the freezer, throwing the fridge, throwing the backyard, hope for the best, your whole insides, everything about your whole mental health situation is just going to be just stinky and messy, right? You can't live by bottling it all up. You can suck it up now and again, and we all have to, right? Now's not the time to talk about that. Cool, moving on. You know, like you got some things to do. Yep, moving on. But you have to come back around to it. Ringularity says, low-key sucks. But when I say I want to open up the next day to someone, the next day comes, I forget what I said the day before, and I stay like that. That's the journaling part. That's the journaling part, where you wrote it down, right? Add that to your life. It probably is the single most important thing you could do. It sounds like, you know, and that is to make a habit. Go buy a book. Doesn't have to be pretty. You know, I like these ones. The coil bound ones that are like that you can fold over. They don't take a bunch of room, but you get enough to work with. And you don't have to write a page. You don't have to write any length. It's not homework. You just sit down and write your thoughts out, right? You can start with, this is what happened today. You can start with, here's how I'm feeling right now. You can start with, I don't know what I'm supposed to say in this journal right now, but like, I guess I'll just, and you just start, right? As you do that, and as you practice, and as you get orderly thinking, then the next day, like say you find a counselor, say you have you talk to somebody, you go, dude, I have this in my journal, hold on. And you go grab your journal, and you're like, okay, here's some stuff I'm going through. Now you can help process it with someone else. Yeah, super healthy, super helpful. You low-key want to do something, knowing you should, wanting to please someone, not the same as actually doing so. Yeah, exactly. And the Band-Aid solution of the Band-Aid solution of I help others is, how do I say this nice? There's some arrogance in it, right? Thinking that you are wise enough to help people with problems you're not solving, that you are worthy of giving advice about self-control and things to do in their life and direction when you aren't doing it yourself, right? It's self-deceiving when you're the person that, well, I give advice, I just don't take it. You know, I tell people what to do, I just don't tell myself, right? That's a problem, right? There's an arrogance there. It's kind of, I pray, that tends to be my go-to. Well, like I said, prayer is good, and it helps with orderly thinking, because usually you're having to form sentences out, you know, whether it be out loud or in your head. It is a way for you to formulate thoughts. The question is, while you're praying, how are you doing with your thinking? Right? Is it like after you're done praying, you're like, I forgot 12 things, I guess I should have said that? Or while you're praying, you're also doing your grocery list, and you're also doing your thought, and you know, like, well, I don't want to talk about that to God. I don't know if he wants to talk about that. You know, that's kind of an emotional thing, and I don't know, maybe I'll just ask forgiveness for that. Like, and you don't process it. You're just like, God, help me deal with that situation. And you're not talking through the situation. You're not talking about your feelings in the situation, or what you wish would happen, or how you think it could be solved, or brainstorming ideas about what you do, or asking advice. It's just you in your head, right? I believe that God does speak to us. Believe that God speaks through his word. I believe God speaks, but primarily he speaks through people. You look at how many times that out of nowhere, God just shows up and says things without using someone else is very, 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 very rare. God most often speaks through people, right? And so therefore, that's why we're supposed to go bear burdens. We're supposed to share stuff like that. Because otherwise, you know, we believe our own press. Like, I believe prayer is critical. It's important. It's you know, super important. But I also think that the way that a lot of people pray is very distracted and very disorderly, right? What's not like God's going, you have to pray, and you know, it has to be this pattern. But it's just like, are you letting all that stuff out? Right? Or is it just something that you are, you know, you're kind of going through the motions, or you're spending time and you're looping through the same 7 things that you keep saying all the time, and you're not actually processing. Like, it's worth asking, am I processing this stuff? Ringularity says, I've had friends open up to me. I mean, I love it that they want to talk to me about what's on their mind, but something is literally mentally blocked for me opening up. Yeah, well, fear, right? If I had to guess, not knowing you at all, I would guess that you did open up to somebody and they hurt you, or you were told by your mom or your dad that men or women or whoever, whatever you are, aren't supposed to do that. Keep it to yourself, right? Real men don't share their feelings. Stop bothering people with your feelings. Or when you did open up to somebody, they gossiped about you. They told people, so you have a hard time trusting. Or you struggle with learning disorder or like language disabilities, and so therefore communicating is difficult. It's hard to get the stuff out of there, and you bumped into some people who didn't have the patience to listen, and so as they were pushing you along, like, okay, what do you want to say? Spit it out. You didn't feel better. You felt stressed out, and you felt, frustrated, and so therefore you just kind of said to yourself, consciously or unconsciously, I'm not going to share anymore, right? Or yeah, you're right. I'm a bother every time I open up. I'm supposed to help people. I know that. I'm supposed to be there for people. I know that. I need to make sure that because that's a good boy or a good girl if I do that. But I'm not supposed to be a burden to anyone, because that's wrong. I'm not supposed to make anybody feel worse. And if I share my feelings, they might feel worse. So that's wrong. And I don't want to be like an infection to anybody. Every time I go somewhere and I start sharing, people are always like, oh, wow, that's a lot. And then they get bummed out. And I don't want to bum anybody out, because that's mean. It's not right for me to be able to dump that stuff in their lap and then just like make them deal with it. That's wrong. So I'll just keep it to myself to protect others. Like all those thoughts, whether they are imported to you, given to you parentally, or from like you and your thinking, or someone stepped in on your feelings and pushed on your heart, like all that stuff prevents you from sharing. That will mentally block you. Yeah, the way to process through that is to find somebody that is either professional, they're paid to listen. they have to. You give them money, or you make the choice to kind of open up to somebody and just kind of, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to find somebody that I think is a friend, and I'm going to open up and just share a thing, see what happens, right? And just make the choice. You talk to a pastor, talk to a counselor. There are free ones. There are doctors, things like that, that will listen, and hopefully they're good and they know what they're doing. But at some point, the risk has to be taken. I feel like these issues I've come from a core problem of my parents comparing me to my friends and cousins, which made me lose a lot of interest, and eventually to bigger issues like low self-esteem and confidence. Yeah, that could be for sure, right? You're not as good as them. You're not as strong as them. You're not as smart as them. And you're like, well, okay, then I guess I won't try. Like, if there's nothing I can do to impress you, mom and dad, if there's nothing I can do that's good enough, then why try? And when I share my weakness with you, mom and dad, you just tell me that other people don't have that weakness. You're not helping me with it. You're just telling me that other people don't have that. Well, that doesn't really help me, because I do. So I guess I can't share my weaknesses with you, because you'll just tell me to suck it up or be better, magically be better. How's that work? Right? And then you take that, you kind of take that thought, you spread it. You just assume that's how everybody thinks, whether consciously or unconsciously. That's how everybody thinks, right? And so therefore, I'm not going to share. Right? It is something that is really hard to know where it kind of comes from. But once you start seeing that you're believing a lie because someone told you a lie that was important to you, right? Whether it be parent or friend or teacher or someone you looked up to, or they told you a lie, you believe that lie. You've been believing that lie for a long time. And once you get to the place where you go, I believe a lie, I'm not going to believe that lie anymore. So therefore, I'm going to act, even though instinctually I don't want to, I'm going to act upon the truth. The truth is, there are people who want to listen to me. The truth is, there are people who can help me. The truth is, I do have weaknesses, and that's okay. And in those weaknesses, I need other people, and that's okay, right? My grades are a big issue. They asked me to do better, and my diploma courses, I got distinction, high distinction grades, but I feel like they didn't appreciate it. Yeah, because you met expectation, right? Look, I got an A. Yep, that's what we expect. And you weren't praised for it, right? You were never praised for the good. You were only, chastised for the bad. And what that leads to is someone who does the bare minimum to just get away with not getting in trouble, right? To do what is necessary so they don't get in trouble, so they don't get caught, so they don't get whatever. And it puts a lot of secret things in your life, right? Stuff, stuff that you use to cope, stuff that you use to, to do behind their back to prove things, stuff that you would never share. It creates this second life where you're like, well, I'm not, this is all the bad stuff I want to do. This is all the risky stuff I want to do. This is all the creative or whatever stuff I want to do that they would never understand. And you have a secret second life but you are meeting expectation with the other one. Or it causes you to want so desperately to get the appreciation of someone that you are willing to risk your psychological and physiological health in order to get it. For example, if you have a girl and she's been told her whole life that, like by men, or by her dad for that matter, right, that she's not pretty, she's never been told that she has value other than, like she's just there. She what she does, she wants her dad to go, good job, you're cool, you're pretty, you're nice, I like you, boy, one day you're going to be a wonderful woman. You're desperate to hear that, never hears it. What she's going to do is she's going to go find someone to say it, right? And the first person to say it convincingly, she will do anything to hear it again, right? Do anything to hear it again. Compromise her physical integrity, compromise her moral integrity, do things that she doesn't feel like she wants to do, say things she doesn't believe, because she's so desperate to get that appreciation, to get that she will compromise. Same thing with guys, right? If you don't feel that you are loved and appreciated, or that you don't feel like your dad or whatever told you that you were, valuable, strong enough, that you had skills, you had something to bring to the world, that they can't wait to see what you become because they see something in you. You were never told that. First person that says, hey, I see something in you, I think you have a strength, and I want to partner with you, I want to use you, I want to, I want you to do something for me. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna do it. And if that's a gang, and if that's a drug dealer, and if that's a someone who wants to sexually abuse you, you will stay and you will do that because someone finally told you what you want to hear. It's a very dangerous thing. Dude, my grandma used to compare me to my older sister all the time, but it was along the lines on I'm better than her. Drove me crazy. I got her to stop comparing us when we got older. Yeah, there are a lot of people who don't know how to compliment without comparison. You can do that, right? Wow, good job. You're very smart. Then stop talking. You don't have to say you're so much smarter than. You can just say you're smart. Good job. Like, here's an A. Good parent. Wow, good job. Bad parent. What did everybody else get? Right? Finding a girlfriend's a big issue of its own. Literally every friend I have right now has a girlfriend, almost like the universe is messing with me, and I have changed myself a lot, but for the worse. Mental health declined a lot. Yeah, so how do I say this without being mean? You wouldn't do good with a girlfriend right now, bud. Like, consider your habit, consider your schedule, consider your where your mental health is at, and all the rest of that stuff. Consider where you're at. The quality of woman you would attract, right? You would need one that had terrible sleeping schedule. You need one that had poor boundaries, that you'd be able to like glom onto, like she's an idol, she will give you all the things that you are missing, right? That you're desperate to have, and you'd compromise yourself. You don't really like them, but they were willing to be a girlfriend, so therefore you're willing to do whatever you want to keep her around, and all of a sudden she could beat you and hurt you and do all kinds of things to you, and you don't care because you want to have a girlfriend, right? Or you're not in a place right now. Hello, thank you, Maria. You're not in a place right now where a girlfriend would be a good idea, because the one that would choose you, or the one that you would choose, wouldn't lead to your flourishing. It would only feed your issues, right? Because people aren't going to, you're not going to go find this magically perfect, good accountability, you know, all put together girl that is going to solve all your problems and help you out and change your habits and, you know, feed your proclivities and make it so that you never want porn again and like all that stuff. This one person, they're never going to exist. They're never going to solve it for you. You will either bring them down to your level and wreck them, or they will see through you immediately and you're gross, I'm out of here, and you'll feel even worse. Or they're going to manipulate, right? You're not in a place right now where you need to do some working on yourself, right? And like you said, you change yourself a lot, but for the worse, right? So there is a place, there is a world in which you feel better, that you feel stronger, that you are sleeping okay, that you become the kind of man that a girl goes, hey, that person's worthy of dating. Why? Because they have self-control, because they understand their strength, because they can use their words properly, because they share their feelings. They don't keep it all bottled up. That person is someone I want to be near as a girl, right? Zach says, to be a little straightforward, I believe that a lot of what we see with the LGBTQ community, people are looking for so hard for a place to belong. They're willing to say they're gay to find a place that they're loved. Yeah, that actually is an issue. Not just gay, but gay, trans, all that stuff. Because one of the things that community has is radical acceptance, right? That's what they're not like. Everything you think, feel, and do is great. Doesn't matter what you are. We'll find you a letter. We'll find you a something. We'll label you and we'll accept you. Come on in, right? And so people who are desperate for that kind of acceptance will crush their ethics or crush their feelings or their instincts because they just want to be accepted. Like there's a lot of people who these days have learned, and we know this, that they've gone through, they thought they were trans when they were growing up, but they weren't. What they were desperately in need of friends and a community that accepted them. They found somebody in a group that did, and they were told, hey, well, that's because you're, that's because you're trans. And then they go, well, okay. And they start changing themselves and they start to believe that. They start to buy their own press. And later, when they, past high school and into college and becoming an adult, and they start to think for themselves and they're like, wait a minute, I'm not that. They told me I was that, and I was desperate to believe it because I wanted them to be, I didn't want to be rejected, right? That happens a lot. That happens with cults. That happens with a lot of cults. That's how you get a cult. Happens with gangs, right? It happens with all kinds of places. People will exploit your weakness, especially if that weakness is to belong. Musical Angel, I feel like everyone has a girlfriend, boyfriend. I'm watching all the friends get married and have kids. I want to get married at some point, but I'm not in much of a rush as them. Well, I mean, it happens, right? So there's lots of good reasons to get married and lots of bad reasons to get married. And let's assume they're all happy and it's all great. So good. Let's be happy for them. And then when your thing comes along, great. But at the same time, right? If you were to be like, oh, I have to go get one now because everyone else does. I'm going to compromise my integrity, compromise my future, compromise my values, compromise my body, compromise myself so that I can be able to achieve this goal that other people are achieving so I can feel better about myself. What guy are you going to get? Right? And how long are they going to stick around? And why are they attracted to you? Is that level of desperation? Are they even attracted to you? No, they're attracted to the version that you created of yourself so that they would find someone attractive. Are you gonna be able to keep that up for the rest of your life? No. Right? You gotta get, like Theseus said, you gotta get yourself together. Yep. Regularity says, like around 16, 17, I met this girl online. Might sound like a loser when I say this. I liked her. We called and all that. We were best friends. But when she asked for a face reveal, I was scared and hesitant, but I did it anyway, braced for rejection. Next thing I know, I was blocked and I was heartbroken. Never want to see my face in the mirror. Though I have been trying to improve, I'm forever traumatized. So now I don't like being in photos of girls knowing how I look. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of my own face. That is no surprise. And I've said that a million times on stream. That's rough, dude. Like, how do you process that feeling? There's a few ways. Like, one of the ways is to go like this. That was one person's opinion, literally one person. Right? That is a horrible thing to happen. It's like, that sucks. They were mean. That's terrible. Plus, like all the girls I know. Okay, I'm gonna be a really old guy boomer blanket statement now, so don't judge me. Okay, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And that is the girls that I know and have ever talked to are way more interested in personality than they are in looks. Okay, every girl. They will start with, wow, that guy is hot. Wow, that guy is cool. And then you're like, why are you with that troglodyte? And the answer is because he's got a good personality. He makes me laugh and he's safe to be around. Right? It's just the way it is, man. So like the looks don't matter as much. Like, go ahead, dude, take a shower, shave, go to hit the gym, whatever you got to do to make yourself feel better. You'll feel better anyway, mentally, just by virtue of the fact that you figure out how sunscreen works. And you know how to shave properly. You'll feel better, which will make you have more confidence, which girls appreciate. Confidence is huge. Actually, one of the problems as guys, dads that we have, is that young women tend to get abusers mixed up with people with confidence, right? Because women, generally speaking, want a guy who's isn't a namby-pamby wuss unless they want to abuse him and they want, like keep him under their thumb. Most girls don't want that though. They want somebody who is worth showing off. You know what I mean? Like worth kind of going, hey, this person has value. And one of the ways they do that is through confidence. And in that confidence, they show that they aren't, they're willing to stand up. They're willing to be protective. They're willing to get a job. They're willing to stand up for themselves and stand up for their girl. Confidence. Problem is they get confused between positive confidence of somebody who actually has earned the confidence and someone who is just an angry abuser, right? Because that kind of looks like confidence and it isn't. Personality is good, you'll look better. Yeah, and that's true too. You look better in your partner's eyes. It's true. You got a good personality. You people, they will find you more attractive. Yeah, that's very true, right? Or they'll find some part of you attractive. Sure, you look like a foot, but I like feet. Things like that. Abuse. Like someone who is an abuser. Think of all the women that like monster romance novels, and that's exactly it. Like, why would anybody want 50 Shades, or any of a vampire, or a werewolf, or I don't know, male succubus vampire? I guess that's what that is. Like, if you think about it from a practical perspective, why would anybody be attracted to somebody who's going to chew them up and spit them out, who's going to beat them, who's going to keep them secret, who's going to manipulate them, right? The answer isn't because women like that stuff. It's because women, generally speaking, I'm speaking again, old man boomer, but like generally react to confidence and want somebody who has strength to protect them, strength to protect themselves, confidence to be able to, show themselves to be better than others, stronger than others, have some kind of confidence. They don't really, they don't care what your skill is necessarily. They just want you to have one, right? They want you to set yourself apart in some way to show that you have a difference. That's why, like, guitar player or artist or construction worker or whatever is like, yeah, my guy is cool because he, he's really good at. It's not and so therefore, when you look at those fantasy monsters, what do they have? Well, they have incredible power. They usually have high charisma, right? They are feared by others. They can get things done. And usually they are connected to, and especially in the romance novels, to that one woman who they show their true selves to, right? That's like, wow, they're very powerful. They're very dangerous. They're very scary. But with me, there's more vulnerability. With me, there's truth. There's just, that doesn't exist. Right? The guy who's a monster out there is going to be a monster at home too. Ringularity says, I got a job as a customer experience. Okay. Basically customer service. Met girls of all types. Finally got to be confident again. Hold eye contact. Have short talks. This was my that was my actual persona. Not just dude. That is partly. Hello, Lee. Right? If you were completely unable to do that, then you wouldn't be able to do it at work either. Right? So that means that there is something inside of you that is able to do that. And probably because you're in a place, and they'll keep saying it, you're in a place where you feel a sense of confidence, a sense of control, a sense of, you know, that where who you are, what you're supposed to do, you can answer questions, you can take them, you know, yeah, I can do that, right? Outside of work, they get asked a question, you're like, I don't know, man, I'm a mess. But in work, yes, I can help you. Yes, I can get you there. Yes, I can fix your problem. Yes, I know exactly how to do that. Yes, I have the authority to do that. I know exactly how to get you to that thing. That's cool. That confidence allows you to have that eye contact and the talks and the, you know, because you have that. Now, how do you get that in real life? Well, that's through getting your crap together, right? That's like being able to actually have a skill outside, actually have, you know, to understand yourself, to be someone who is self-controlled. Hello, Leland. Right? Somebody who has the ability to do something like that. It doesn't, and again, it doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be something that has a bit of an exceptional nature to it, and that you are, you have general basic hygiene, and you can communicate like a human being. It doesn't take much these days, man. You know how low the bar is for guys? Ask any woman in chat right now how low the bar is for finding a decent guy, right? It's so bad. Like, they don't go to school. They don't have a driver's license. They don't know how to communicate. They're addicted to porn. They're smoking weed, and they can't hold a job. Right? So if you can, like, reasonably communicate your feelings, have an actual job, take a shower, you're doing better than many. Stay off drugs. Well, in a limbo, the bar being low is the difficulty. Maybe. Yeah, that's true. Life is not limbo, though. Don't you think? Maybe it is. Is life limbo? Go on. All right, so we were talking about depression and trying to solve that problem. Let's solve depression while we're doing that. So what we're talking about right now today, and welcome. The where that kind of led to was from this idea of how to see yourself when you're slipping away, right? So the last thing we talked about was sleep, and that's the most. If you're not sleeping, everything's gonna kind of go bad. 203. I know. That was ice. That was technically ice. It was flavored ice, mostly melted. I found that I'd never be happy with a woman if my relationship with Christ is not the first thing in my life. God is enough. And that's just universally kind of true. If you are trying to find a woman to solve all your problems, to fix you, to be your accountability, to be your mom, right? To be your God, to be the person who feeds you, makes you feel better, stronger, handsome, meaningful. If you're dumping that all on a singular woman, she can't hold that, man. She can't hold that. That is just not what another human being is capable of. You have to be okay with yourself. You have to be okay with God. You have to be able to deal with your own emotions. Like, you have to be relatively, you can't dump all that on your spouse. All that'll do, you'll find someone who you become incredibly codependent with, or you'll find somebody who can manipulate you with all that. And you'll find somebody who eventually, even if they are super nice, kindest person in the whole world, super pretty, absolutely the best, will get sick of you quick because she's not capable. She thinks she can fix you. She thinks that if she just gives you a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, a little bit of attention, a little bit of water, a little bit of sunlight, she sees raw potential in you. Okay, cool. I'm going to try this. I'm going to fix them a little bit, and then we'll be happy together. But she's going to get tired of you because she can't be that for you. In your country, being a virgin who doesn't smoke is a red flag? Doubt it. Doubt it. I could game all day where she makes me pizza rolls. Yeah, living the dream, man. Exactly. Even if I have a diploma and a part-time job, soon to be an intern, they don't matter. Yes, it does. Again, that all matters because that is part of your package, my dude. That's part of your package. What package do you bring? Hey, I have self-control and no addictions. Hey, I don't have any STDs. Hey, I keep my eyes to myself and I don't look at other women. Guess what? I also have potential. I have education. I am trusted by an employer and I am moving up in the world. Guess what? That's me. High on Ringularity and I've got my crap together. Here's some things I need to do. I need to figure out how to sleep. I need to figure out how to eat. I need to figure out how to communicate. But I'm going to work on that. Right? That is every planet on Earth. Every country on Earth. That's attractive. Unless you're in some really weird, messed up society where they're, you're eating people and you have to like. But I don't think you live in that one. Much of a bro friend. Even my friend said that I'm being too safe around women. Don't listen to those guys. Don't listen to those guys. Those are tools. What's happening, I think, if I had to guess, right? You being a bro friend means that you have attractive qualities and you have a level of conversation, right? You're able to hold a conversation. You means you have value. It means they see something in you and they see safety in you. That's all good. It means maybe that you have some stuff to work on when it comes to taking that next level. Like, for example, hygiene, sleep, not being a grump, being consistent, things like that. Because inconsistency will shoot you in the foot every time. Women expect you to be consistent. If you say something, they expect you to follow through. Otherwise, you're a liar. And women don't get with liars, period, right? And the too safe around women part, nah. You might think that like from all the advice from all the bros online that women respond to aggression, but again, that's not what they're responding to. They're responding to confidence, right? They're responding to confidence, which is usually a precursor to that aggression. The problem with the aggression is you can't build a relationship on it, right? You will either hurt them or they will run or something. Like that doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you can get to the point of being bro friend with women, then that means you do have value and they see something in you, but it's just, there's like some red flags in your life. Could be stuff you don't see. That's why you need to talk to people. That's why you need the counseling. That's why you need the journaling. That's why you need to be able to talk to someone like, what's going on here? And they're like, well, dude, you don't shower. Or, well, dude, you are a grouch. Like you're really negative all the time, right? You're cool when you're fun and you're really neat to hang around with and you seem to be able to do some stuff and you have some money so you can go places. But boy, a lot of times you're just negative. You don't notice it because you're just giving your opinions and thinking you're being funny. And you're like, no, you're a negative Nancy and they don't want to be around that permanently, right? They're willing to hang out with you for the evening. And is this a good evening? Oh, good. Then they're interesting and funny. But I don't want that in my life if they're going to be that negative. And maybe you don't see it. I don't know, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. That's what you need to get it out of your system, journal, talk about it. Something like that, the grouch. Yeah. Nobody likes hanging around a grouch. Love being helpful, love being friendly, love being there for someone and having fun with someone. But I guess that's not manly according to the, yeah, it is. Dude, like I said, man, I don't know who you're listening to, but yes, it is. Like I said, if you've got that down, let's just assume you're correct. Okay. That you're not completely snowing yourself and not living in a fantasy world. Let's assume that's correct. That you are helpful, that you are friendly, and that you're willing to be there for someone, and that you are able to hold a conversation and actually do interesting, fun things. That's all really good. But what that means is that there's some part of your life that is not attractive, whatever that is, or multiple parts of your life, because that is everything you're saying is an in. That's what gets you the conversation. That's what gets you to the place where you can ask, ask out. And if you are, if you're not the most attractive dude in the world and you don't look like you're working on it, that's going to work against you because it shows lack of confidence, lack of effort. But if you're working on it, even if you show that you're working on it, even if you're not there yet, it allows them to see that you have potential. The movies aimed at women portray the main male coquette, is what you are saying. Yeah. And it's not accurate. All the BP edits on TikTok. Yeah, that's exactly right, dude. Just don't. Oh, you say that was what we want. I thought what you meant was that the opposite. The aggressive character. No, you're saying that women want the guy to be helpful and friendly and someone to be fun to hang around with. Yes. Yeah. Also, Aki recently promoted the new AI tool on his stream called Venture AI, biblically based tool. Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah, I honestly, I think that's cool. I would never trust it. Yeah, I'm sure it's awesome. I'm not going to argue with Aki. But as someone who is who's a Bible teacher, I don't know what it was trained on, and I don't know where it was trained. I don't know what it'll do, and I don't want it to hallucinate, especially if you got something really serious going on, right? So, like, I'd rather you use that as a tool secondarily, and then also talk to your pastor. That's what I think you should do. Or a professor, or a teacher, or a Bible student, or an old guy, or an old girl who knows, their Bible well. Just don't use that as your only thing. Dangerous. All right. We shall continue, I suppose. When I notice drift. Noticing the changes isn't enough, though. Action is, I keep it simple. I gently reintroduce structure again. Recommit to my bedtime. If I'm having trouble, I can script an accountability buddy. Right? We talked about that already. Right? The wow, things are kind of going sideways. Okay. How do I get back into my rhythm? And like you said, regularity, the rhythm is a trouble for you. So you got to find a rhythm, and accountability is a big part of that. Hallmark movies show the main man as helpful, caring, supportive, fun, trying to grow themselves. Good thing. Yeah. And it usually shows that the woman that she's with, right, is the hotshot, successful, professional, rich guy, the guy who had confidence to attract her and that she was attracted to. So she realized that actually that guy is not great because he lacks all the other things. And then she goes and she hangs out with a guy who actually is friendly and willing to tell the truth. But his level of confidence is different. It's not like an aggressive confidence. It's not like the kind of confidence where he's going to go, yell at somebody. His confidence is in the ability that he can take a joke. And when she gives him guff, he doesn't take the guff. It shows, confidence is that he actually has like a business, or he actually does go to work. He seems to have some kind of expertise in something, usually the carpenter or something with his hands to show that he can make something. But like it's a same kind of confidence, but it's a different kind of confidence. It's a constructive confidence. It's one that shows that he is a fully rounded personality instead of a figurehead. All right. Have a good one, man. Take care of yourself. Let us know how it goes. Hopefully you get some sleep. Had a convo with a lady friend the other night about this. She literally said this. Yeah. But keep in mind, the confidence thing is true, right? He has a confidence. That's why usually you'll see the guy, she'll like make fun of him, or she'll do something. The old boyfriend would get defensive. Fragile ego, right? He'll be insecure. He'll show his insecurity. How, what are you doing? Why would you say that? How dare you? You can't leave me. What will people say? She'll do something similar to the good guy, right? And the good guy will push back. Yeah, well, when you were a kid, blah blah blah, or I still remember, or hey, you're not like you, whatever, And what that communicates is he has a level of confidence, but he also has a level of security. He is secure in himself. We covered it, man. That's the whole thing. That's the article. I'm going to put this in the chat so you guys can read it if you're interested. What I wanted to do is, so what we did, we talked about sort of the preventing depression, which all came down to, hey, you know, have a rhythm, have a pattern, have consistency, have accountability, that kind of stuff. That is, yes, all that. But I found this person who is got a master's degree. She's smart and whatnot. She got a lot of subscribers, obviously, clearly has a clue. And to finding a woman, because it's connected, bro. It's super connected. I don't have accountability. I don't sleep very good. I don't have self-control, which leads me to not be able to do things correctly, which leads me to having some bad habits because I'm trying to compensate, which leads me to caffeine, which makes me more aggressive, which makes it so that I can't see straight, which makes me grumpy, which, you know what? Ladies don't want any of that. Maybe I should go to bed. Yeah. So what I wanted to do, the second thing I wanted to do, we'll kind of react through this, and that is micro habits that fuel depression. So we talked about, you know, kind of, I see the slide, and then we're going to talk about the things that are actually kind of show what's going on in ways that you can kind of, wait a minute, that's not true. Man, I'm a big believer in not believing your own press. Before we do that, though, I am going to go use the bathroom. I'm going to go grab a quick snack. It is after 2. I'm going to leave you guys on a screen that has a little game. Could be fun. Exclamation point play if you want to play it. And then you guys can, it'll give you a little thing to vote on. It'll give you another little fill in the blank. It's pretty cool, actually. So I think it's fun. So I'll be back after I get myself a quick snack, and we're going to talk about the micro habits that fuel depression. Those are good guesses. I'll leave it on until we see the answer. Let's... Maybe I should help too. Existential. I don't know. Spiders. Terror. No one guessed it. You were close though, Hannah. You were so close. Yeah. There you go. Existential dang. All right, let's go back here. What a great time to start a video. You know, music ends, all that jazz. What a great, yeah, spiders, existential spiders are actually a big problem these days. We don't like those. What's the max? I'm not telling you. I go to the stream. So far, so good. I think we're doing okay. We had a really good chat about all kinds of stuff. We started a conversation and we've been talking about it for 2 hours. So that's got to be something good. We're about to jump into a video called Micro Habits That Fuel Depression. So things that can bum you out. And if you're doing these, you don't stop. That's it. So I'm going to push play and let's react our way through this.
A lot of people who end up with major depressive disorder have no idea why they feel the way they do. Some have experienced trauma or a huge stressor, but a surprising amount of them say something like, everything in my life is fine. I have no reason to be depressed, but I just don't feel happy anymore. So here's my theory. Depression happens when tiny things, often unnoticed, add up over time and become overwhelming. Researchers have explored the brain's giving up circuit, which flips from, this is hard, but I'm gonna keep trying, to, this is pointless, I'm gonna give up. And when life feels too overwhelming, the nervous system reinforces shutdown and hopelessness. Now, this is actually great news because if we can just manage just a few of these tiny things, we can remove some of the weight fueling our depression, allowing our brain and body's natural resilience to kick back in. So let's take a look at the micro habits that add up over time to cause depression. Depression isn't just about feeling sad, it's actually not being able to feel much happiness. Where does this come from? Usually someone who's been depressed has been hurt so many times that it's easier to expect the worst than to hope for the best and be disappointed. Over time, this warps into downplaying anything good that happens. It can look like dismissing wins. So sure, I got out of bed and I went to work, but anyone could do that. Or it can look like rejecting compliments. Oh, they're just being nice. Or downplaying.
Let's pause there and kind of talk about it from content creator perspective, right? So just think about it, because that's, you know, who we're trying to talk to. It works for everybody, but like content creator perspective, you get a really good, put out a video, get 2 or 3 comments, you know, like, hey, good video. And for you, you're worried about the algorithm and you're worried about the analytics and you're worried about the, you know, click-through rate and all that stuff. You, instead of seeing a few comments that are nice, you only see the negative side, right? You discount that it actually connected with people, right? And then, you know, the same thing with compliments, right? Like, hey, good job, good video, good talk, good stream, good whatever. I like that. Even if it's just like a simple, that was good today. You know, Ransom says that sometimes at the end of the chat, this was a good stream, means the world to me. You know, like it just generally speaking, that wasn't so bad. You know, means a lot. So, you know, discounting those compliments, whether it be your content to yourself, to whatever, you know, like if you're doing that over and over, it basically means that whenever somebody gives you a compliment, make you feel better, you throw a negative in there to drop it back down. Like if 200 people came in and just, you know, consistently gave you compliments about how great you are and how cool you are and how nice you are and how handsome you are, and like it just kept going, you'd be like, you'd feel pretty good about yourself. But if every time it comes in, you are like, no, 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 you will never get better, right? So those, yeah, too bad. Those are two bad habits.
The positive. Oh, I got a raise, but with inflation, it doesn't matter. Or discounting something beautiful, like, oh, what a pretty sunset. Probably just pollution, right?
Bummer. I haven't done that one yet. I wouldn't believe them. Yeah, that's the point. You know what's a raise? Right, that's kind of the point, is in your brain, you're turning their compliment into a lie, right? They are lying to me. They are liars. And that, on the outside, from, you know, someone on this side, why would I lie to you about that? What do I want from you? You know, what do you think? What do you think I want to do? Why would I say that if I didn't mean it? But if it goes in your brain and every time you get it, it's like, well, that's a lie. That's wrong. They don't understand. If they really knew me, they wouldn't say that. If they'd seen me behind closed doors, they wouldn't like me. You know, and you just keep crapping on yourself and deleting from your memory all the stuff that people are saying. Then you end up, you know, they can't make you feel better, and B, it's a sign that there's something going on in you that is not good, right? Sure, they would think that. They don't know better. Exactly. That's, you know, imposter syndrome. A healthy brain tries to, it tries to do both, right? It's like, okay, I'm not going to believe everything everybody says about me because that's just naive. And I'm not going to just, you know, have yes men around that only tell me what I want to hear. That's bad. Healthy brain goes, I do need people to tell me the truth, and I'm not as good as I think I am. But an unhealthy brain, a healthy brain also allows for compliments, also is able to accept that you do have gifts and skills and abilities and positive things, and that there are parts of you that are, you know, that are exceptional or better than maybe some others and things like that. Like they're able to, you healthily are able to accept both. You filter out the ones that are either wrong or lies or bad or manipulative or just, you know, wrong. And but you're also able to kind of say, no, they're giving me a compliment, I can take it. Now, the depression, when you put the sunglasses of depression on, everything seems darker than it is, right? You like, the compliments aren't as bright. The negative, the darker negatives are darker. So your depression, the brain issue, the thing that your thinking problem, is actually seeing things wrong. I could throw the sun at you and be like, this is how great I think you are, the brightness of the sun. And you are not going to see that because through your lens of depression or sadness, or, you know, your parents only ever telling you were the worst, or somehow being told that being complimented is always ego. Like you didn't pick the compliment, you're not asking for it, but somehow if they compliment me, I'm somehow egotistical. Like, you've been told that. So your lens sees it and it can't see the brightness that it really is. Not because it's not there, but because of the glasses, right? If you didn't have those glasses, if you weren't told since you were a kid that all compliments are lies, or told that when, you know, anybody who would accept a compliment is automatically arrogant, or that you were terrible and the only way that you should be able to see yourself is a terrible person. If you didn't have those, you'd be able to see the compliment. How do we know? Other people can do it, right? Other people can handle it. They can do both, you know. Thank you for the compliment. You're right. I did try my best on that. That was lovely for you to say so. And then they move on. They don't blow up their head, but they also are able to see the compliment, right? That's a healthy person. And it's up to us. And these are why we're talking about the micro habits, right? That are kind of fueling the problem. The first one, you know, discounting all the positive stuff and going, that's lovely. No, it's not. You know, that's, hey, look, a good thing happened. Yeah, but a bad thing will probably happen tomorrow, right? Here, hey, somebody said they like me. Yeah, but 3 other people don't like me, right? If that's your habit, what you're doing is you are reinforcing the glasses. You're making sure that they stay on. You're making sure that they never get any brighter. You are you're choosing, you know what I mean? Apparently my filter was turned down because I was about to make a joke about having the sun thrown at us. By all means. I mean, if you want to minimize, shut up, just say thank you. Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, other people, though, we're taught, like I'm taught and I teach, when I compliment somebody or when you thank somebody, be specific, right? That's like, thank you for doing that. Or you did a good job. I particularly liked this part of it, right? You're supposed to be specific. And if what you did was really good and they're very specific and they have a level of excitement, then they're going to up the compliment to something that they're like, yeah, you did something great for me because you are exceptional in a way that I haven't experienced before. And for you to go, no, I'm not, and you're lying, it's to completely minimize and, just hurt that person. Maybe you don't say it out loud, but like it discounts who they are and what they're saying and their experience and their perspective. That's valuable too.
Dismissing the positive is an attempt to prevent hurt, to numb, to avoid feeling, instead of to feel both joy and sadness. And I think that a lot of people who develop depression are these beautiful, sensitive souls who feel every emotion so deeply that they subconsciously start to numb themselves because they don't know what to do with the pain of the world.
So artists particularly struggle with this. So creators would too. Because as an artist, you are trained, or you naturally are trying to see the world in a different way, right? You're trying to express it through poetry. You're trying to describe it in language through writing. You are trying to paint it as a picture, that feeling. So you're trying to hit the process through. You are, trying to express. So therefore you have to feel it differently and see it different and sense it differently and experience it maybe even more, which allows you to be able to do that art that actually affects people. That's a good thing. It's a gift. It's God's gift to you. However, that gift is a double-edged sword because your perspective being deeper and your feelings being deeper and your understanding of that emotion or that, that feeling being more complex means that, you're going to struggle more with it. It's Stoicism, I think, is like classical Stoicism isn't necessarily bad. The idea that that you are in control of yourself, right? That you can face things and still be logical and still be it's not going to ruin you. But I think there's the toxic masculinity, or whatever you want to say, or like a toxic stoicism, which is emotions won't affect me, period. Right? Nobody can compliment me into feeling better. Nobody can hurt me into feeling bad. I just won't feel. Like, that's bad. It's actually super unhealthy. Hey, Jim.
By constantly rejecting positivity, we train our brain to ignore the good and focus only on the negative. You're trying to protect yourself from hurt, but you're fueling depression in the long run. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about another micro habit that fuels depression. How do you treat yourself when you've made a mistake? Do you berate yourself for not being perfect? Do you say things like, I'm such an idiot, I'm such a loser, what's the matter with me? This is a reflex. Maybe you even think that it's helpful. Like, if you yell at yourself enough, then you'll be motivated to be better. And I would say, how's that working for you?
Good counselors always have that question. And how's that going for you? Yeah. But this one I do struggle with. I tend to beat myself up if I do anything wrong or imperfect. It's just, I'm immediately mean to myself. I don't know if anybody else struggles with that, but I do. Is it self-punishment? Yeah, for sure.
Usually this backfires. Many people believe that self-criticism motivates improvement, but research shows it actually fuels shame and inaction. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you experience...
Because you don't want to feel it, right? I don't want to call myself an idiot, so I'm going to avoid doing the thing that makes me feel like an idiot, which means you don't improve, and you don't grow, and it doesn't get better. Yeah, you can hate messing up. The question is, what do you do about it? Do you practice and get better? Do you go and get help? Do you learn more about it? Do you say, hey, I tried really hard, I'm going to go try again? Or do you go, I suck forever, I'm always going to suck, and I'm never going to go try that again? Right?
Pain, you respond in a way that fuels more pain instead of healing and self-compassion. Okay, next one. Another really common way that we accidentally fuel depression is how we respond to our feelings. People with depression often have a subconscious habit of blaming yourself for having emotions. So for example, you say, oh, I feel guilty for being depressed. I'm weak for having anxiety. I should just get over this. These judgy thoughts pile extra negativity on normal emotions, making them harder to process in a healthy way. And if you do this over and over, eventually it's going to add up and your little shutdown circuit is going to flip the switch to depression.
It goes a lot with what we were just doing with the previous article, right? That idea of these little habits that you do positively, go to bed at the same time, have a meal, call a friend, journal, meditate, do your devos, those little things that they add up to tip the scale the other way. But it also is important for us to recognize that that our habits can negate that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, you go to bed on time, but you know, it wasn't what I wanted to be, but I got up 10 minutes later, but I hit snooze, but you know, like all of a sudden you like that habit, now you pooped on it and you kind of evened it out instead of letting it help. And the same thing with you ate. Yeah, but I could have eaten better and I didn't really have a salad and I should have eaten more vegetables and I shouldn't do, you know, now you just, all the good thing that you did, which was eating dinner, good job, is now negated because you crapped on yourself again. Right? Same thing with, you know, I called a friend. Yeah, but our conversation was very deep and, you know, I should have done it earlier and I you know, like they talked more than I did or I talked more than they did. So I wasn't a very good friend. And you just took all that and you like good job for calling a friend and having a conversation and working through that. You canceled it out, right? Those good habits are good. And eventually, like sometimes you will beat yourself up, but you still do the good habit because it's, you know, it's a good habit, it's important and it'll come around eventually, I hope. But yeah, be careful with how you think, man. Like, especially if you're speaking someone else's thoughts for you, right? Like I've said this before. My dad will admit this. Like when I was growing up, he was really like critical. He was always working shift or he was always tired for 20 years. And so he just sort of had this critical voice always kind of running. And I like if he was doing anything, it was oh, you know, like say he had to go change a tire in the car or he had to go fix something or whatever. Like it wouldn't just, you know, he wouldn't be walking in there whistling, grabbing the thing and starting to change it. He would go in, he would go do it, but the whole time it was like, oh man, I don't have time for this. Why do things have to break all the time? Like, what is the deal? I should have been able to deal with this before. Like, why do I have so many other things I have to be doing? This is so silly. I should have done, you know, like this person. Why did they do that? And it's just murmur, right? There's this murmur. And so it's really easy for me to get into murmur mode and just kind of paint everything with this, like this gray paint. So the trick behind this, or one of the tricks, is to recognize that the words that you were speaking may not be your words. You may be repeating them, you know, I'm the worst, but you're not saying it because you believe it. You're saying it because someone told you to believe it, right? Your parent told you that, or your teacher told you that, or like the you're ugly. Someone said that. And now you're like, okay, I must be because someone said it. And now you tell yourself that over and over and over and over and over. Not because it's true or you even necessarily believe it, but you make yourself believe it because someone said it. It's a particularly destructive habit when you choose, well, I guess habit the right word? Whatever. But when you are like your identity is made up by other people, which you can't help it. It is in a very real way. But if you aren't able to critically evaluate those thoughts and you got to go, am I? Is it? Is that true? You have to do it. The sunset one is a great example, right? Like you look at the sunset and you're like, that's pretty sunset. And then part of your brain goes, yeah, but it's probably going to snow, you know? Yeah, but that probably is, you know, but it's really smelly out here. But yeah, but the sun's going down. It's going to get dark. We're never going to get home, right? You ask yourself, who was that? Because I enjoyed the sunset. I thought that was cool. I think that's pretty. Who just crapped in my cornflakes? Where did that come from? And you just dig into it. You know what? That was my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, my friend, my my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my, you know, like someone, that's their voice. That's not my voice. That's someone else's voice. And when you start recognizing that, wait a minute, that's not me. That's someone else. I'm just speaking words for them because they're not here. You're able to get a lot healthier a lot quicker. Sometimes things stick because someone said it when you were, low open searching. Exactly. Well, and for like a guy, this is like famous. Everybody knows this one. Like guys are so rarely complimented, at least in our society, that like one compliment that they got when they were like 15 is, you know, they've been living on that for 25 years. It's a not necessarily because it was something they, you know, valued or whatever. It was just because it was something that nobody had said before, or it was something about something they didn't think that before, and somebody said it special. Like someone says nice shirt, like it could mean a lot to a guy, and then you just keep looping on, hey, that's a good shirt. I look good in that shirt. I like wearing that shirt. That's cool. I feel good when I'm wearing that shirt. Why? Because that loop is on. Somebody said I looked nice in that shirt, and somebody, you know, thought it was cool, and they said I was cool, and they liked what it was on it, which means that interest is okay, which means I'm allowed to have that, which means other people think maybe it's cool. That's kind of neat. That loop is on, right? But yeah, when it works the other way, but for whatever reason, human nature, sin nature, the negative stuff tends to be louder, more repetitive, and easier to stick.
Okay, depression often brings a habit of withdrawing from life. So you switch from connection to withdrawal. The brain thinks if I just avoid difficult situations, I won't get hurt. And over time, this avoidance fuels loneliness and isolation. It might look like avoiding opportunities, like, oh, why enter the art competition if I might not win? Or canceling plans. They wouldn't want to see me if I'm feeling down. Or not reaching out. Oh, if they cared, they'd message me first.
Or, why should I create this content? Nobody's going to watch it. Or why should I write this thing if no one's going to read it? Or why should I work on this if I'm not going to get any better? Or, you know, and so therefore you just pull back, even though you want to be in the Discord, you want to play the game, you want to contact your friends, you want to create the thing, you think it'd be interesting. You shut it down because you don't want to have to deal with what other people are going to say that in your mind that they're going to say somehow, or they're going to avoid you. Like it's legitimate. You're thinking on behalf of other people. Every time I see someone or hear someone do that, I try to point out and just say, hey, listen, don't think for other people. Don't spend time in your mind having conversations on behalf of other people that aren't there. And sometimes they're saying mean stuff. Like, don't, like, for example, I don't need to talk to that person. They'll just say no. Don't say no for them. Ask them. But I know they'll say no. Do you? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Ask them anyway. Stop talking for them. Right? It's so important. So important for you not to be speaking other people's words on their behalf. And yet in some situations, these questions are not only valid, but necessary. You're right. But in a healthy brain, right? Like you're looking at a thing. Yeah, that's probably a waste of time. I don't need to do that. It's not a depressive thought. It's just you analyzing and choosing and doing something better because you're, experience or whatever. But depression is when this happens over and over and over and over and over, right? When it's consistent. You're like, well, yeah, I don't need to go out. I don't need to do this. Blah, blah, blah. I don't need to, say anything. I don't need to try anything. Why should I even, that when that loops on, like, it's not like, cause usually you're fine. And then you have this thought of, you know what, maybe that won't be appreciated. All right, I'll do something else. And you move on with life and that's fine. It's just that I'm never appreciated. I shouldn't do anything. I shouldn't try. Maybe I'll just stay home. That's one thing. That's the habit. That's why it's not just a singular thing. It's a habit. And because you're right. Sometimes you do need to do that. Self-evaluation and going, maybe I should avoid that is healthy. Healthy brain, is that a real thing? Perfectly healthy? Probably not, but we can do our best. Number one struggle of raising financial partnership as a missionary is expecting that no and not asking. Yeah, asking on their behalf or answering on their behalf before they have a chance, for sure. Or asking poorly, like as in being your own... like your own, what do they call that? Prophet. Fulfilling your own prophecy. right? So I'm going to present a crappy version. I'm going to present a less version. I'm going to send them, you know, half of whatever. I'm just going to kind of ask when it's not the right time without much energy. Yeah, I figured they'd say no anyway, right? You didn't give it your best because you didn't want to get rejected, but because you didn't give your best, you didn't give yourself a chance to not be rejected, right? Which means everybody's going to do that, which means why do I even try? Which means, you know, depends on what's considered the standard for a healthy brain. Yeah, and where and how. Yeah, exactly. Because narcissists believe that they're just the greatest thing in the whole world and that the universe should revolve around them. That's not a healthy brain, right? Anybody who ever says anything wrong is wrong. I'm great. That's not good. You know, sociopaths who literally, you know, can't develop relationships and choose to mimic or to fake emotions so that they can try to be good with society. So they're going out and they're pretending, you know, they're out, but they're trying to be nice and stuff like that, but they've got a broken brain. That's not good, right? Yeah, it's doesn't necessarily it's not one to one. Good day, duck.
If you repeat this pattern over and over again, you get stuck in a cycle of withdrawing and feeling worse. So when you feel bad, you withdraw more. And it's just this tiny habit that fuels a cycle that's hard to get out of.
Well, have a good day at school. Take care of yourself. Hopefully your dad's on the mend. Broken crayons can still color. Aw. That's a nice little phrase.
Okay, here's the next habit, numbing behaviors. Bottling up emotions is our parents' generational coping skill. They might have said things like, no one wants to hear it, put on your big girl panties. I heard one guy describe this as just shoving all your emotions into a mental trash can, but then you have to carry that around. So instead of
That's the meat illustration from earlier.
dealing with emotions, do you turn to distractions? Like, oh, if you're feeling stressed, do you eat something to feel better? Or if you're feeling tired, hurt, or overwhelmed, do you look at your phone? If you have a stressful problem, do you avoid it, right? If you feel like you're never good enough, do you become a...
Hey, Tam. Good to see you. Any medical experts here? I don't... we got the doctor. Got at least one doctor. Physicist, but accounts. It's a doctor. If you have problems with physicism, we can help with that. I have a master's of divinity and with bachelor pastoral counseling as my major. So I can do that. We have some folks in chat that are also smart. So I guess medical experts, I would say that probably not like doctors, but I would say that we have some folks who know what they're doing, and I do have education in counseling, so this lines up.
Workaholic to suppress those feelings. People with depression often get trapped in a cycle of trying not to feel bad or trying to feel happy, and research shows that this has much poorer outcomes than learning to work through problems. When we were kids and didn't have the skills...
Yeah, the numbing thing is... I'm glad that we've kind of... I don't know if we've moved on just everywhere, but like... it's not as bad as it was, right? People are allowed to feel, and they're allowed to talk, and they're allowed to be who they want to be. Like we've come a long way as a society, allowing people to believe what they want to, you know, believe, and feel what they want to feel. We maybe overcorrected to the place where truth no longer exists and only feelings exist, but at least it's different than nobody's allowed to have feelings, and you know that please suppress everything until you die of a heart attack at age 55. My dad dealt with I don't know how to say that word. Bar syndrome. I can't say it. My depression is pretty heavy at the moment, but hanging in. While you're in good company, Tam, I'm working hard to be someone who can pastor and help content creators specifically. But you know, I work with whoever needs help, and we got a lot of folks in chat who understand what it's like to suffer with depression, suffer with anxiety, suffer with loneliness. You know, we got a lot of folks who get that. You know, so you're in good company, and hanging in is a good thing. Unless you've been hanging in for like years at the same level, in which case we got to work on that.
To solve a problem, our parents may have responded to our emotions by distracting us with a show or giving us a snack, essentially just more of these numbing behaviors. But now that we're adults, we can learn the skills to face our problems and to build up the skills to solve them instead of avoiding them. Okay, and the opposite side of numbing is rumination. This is overthinking the past. This is where you're replaying mistakes, dwelling on injustices, you're spiraling about what could have been. All of this fuels depression.
Goals for intelligent, Nat 1, nice. I watched so many Grey's Anatomy. I got this. Don't worry about it. You know, bend over. But I have a mental problem. Bend over! Yeah, rumination though. I don't think I do that one. Maybe I do. I don't think so. I'm not much, but I mean, I journal, so I try not to ruminate. We've talked about rumination a ton in this stream. Dangerous.
The brain mistakes this for problem solving, and that's why it keeps doing it, but it actually keeps you stuck.
I don't think I learned to numb until I grew up and got tech. I bet if you dig down, you'll find how you did that though. How you used avoidance behaviors when you were growing up. Sorry, did I miss something? Oh, the Guillain-Barré syndrome. Yeah. I took 30 milligrams of morphine to manage the pain. I was sort of a caregiver. Oh, that's good for you. But that's hard, right? So one of the problems with being a caregiver, especially with something that's pretty rough. All right, thanks, Ledgate. Is that you don't care for yourself, or you don't learn to care for yourself, right? It's you would feel guilty when you take care of yourself because you're not taking care of them, which feels selfish, which runs you down, which leads you to all kinds of bad coping behaviors just so you can get through, because you feel like you need to be able to help that person, right? You need to be able to help that person. And if you aren't around, they're worse and it's your fault. And that ends up leading to some pretty negative behaviors in the future. 0. How's that? Yeah, gotta be careful with those modifiers. Anybody in D&D knows what it's like to roll a -2. Masking so hard you don't feel anything or feel it, but it's super muted. So it is also what some people do, which prevents you from processing. Yeah, for sure. Right? As in, like, you just buckle down. You either ignore it, right? You withdraw, you whatever. You kind of push through. But like I said, you have to deal with it at some point. Well, no, I'll say it this way because this is more accurate. You will deal with it at some point. You will. It'll happen. The question is, will you do it in a way that is constructive and healthy and correct and gets you towards health, or will you deal with it in a negative way that destroys something in your life that causes permanent damage, right? So like, say you know, whatever it is, you deal with it because you had a heart attack. You deal with it by yelling at your spouse or abusing someone or getting serially, you know, divorced or eating yourself into oblivion, or like, you're gonna deal with it. Question is, are you dealing with it in a healthy way? Because the negative ways that you keep going with, especially like the numbing, you'll end up so miserable. I know I've known women, and I say women because they were all women. There are guys who do this too, but I knew some women that I pastored that they just ruminated so hard. Like, they were just miserable people. And every conversation you had was the same conversation. It was either about their divorced, their husband that they divorced. He was just the worst. He would never this. He would never do, or a child. They're the worst. They don't ever visit. They don't do anything. They're every conversation, right? And so you know that they're at home and that's all they're thinking of, which makes them just miserable. They don't want to be around anybody and nobody wants to be around them. And so they end up being lonely. Why? Because they never processed that problem, and they're dealing with it, and the world is falling apart around them, and they're falling apart too. May the odds be ever in your favor. Let's hope.
The next one's super common, and I'm going to let Tim Ferriss introduce it.
For me, generally low mood, if we want to call it depression, it's not a first cause. It's typically some type of anxious rumination, worrying about something. I compromise my sleep because I have onset insomnia. Then I consume too much caffeine, which further compromises my sleep. And then after 3 or 4 days, that's when the low mood / depressive symptoms show up. So anything that compromises sleep, I try to avoid.
Okay, who's this guy? Tim Ferriss is the best-selling author of multiple books, the host of a super popular podcast. He's a
Have we learned yet that sleep's important? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
multi-millionaire, and he also struggles with depression and low mood at times. Failing to take care of basic needs like sleep, healthy eating, and stress management worsens depression. A lot of people don't even recognize their stress levels until they hit a breaking point.
We're not taught how to manage our minds. We just kind of figure out what works, even if it's temporary and harmful. They need to teach how to manage our minds in schools. They do, and they do have counseling and things like that, like better than they used to. It used to be like, go to gym, pretend that didn't happen, move to your uncle's house, like things like that. Like it's not good. If you go way back, back in the days of ancient Greece and things like that, they would teach you how to think logically. They would teach you how to think through problems and how to process stuff, and philosophy, how to understand the world and the universe, religion, where everything came from, what's the final destination. Like, they gave you these underpinnings of life because that lets you see everything else from a better perspective. But when you're like, well, we're not going to teach people how to think, right? Too busy trying to get them to pass tests. We're not going to teach people how what the underpinnings of the universe are, because religion, bad. Therefore, we're just going to tell them all they evolved from goop, and nothing they do will matter ever. We're not going to teach them how to communicate, right? We're not going to teach them how to communicate. We're going to give them every tool in the world that will communicate for them, so that they don't have to, right? It's like we have done such a disservice to people to be able to process this world. No wonder that everybody's on crazy medication and doing drugs. I sleep, stares at ceiling for the next 3 hours. Yeah. Got a journal. That's what journaling's for.
I interviewed an ER doctor last year, and she said that often when someone comes in having a panic attack, they think they're having a heart attack. But then when she asks them if they're stressed out, they say no. Then she asks them about their lives, and they've got mountains of stress that they didn't even realize.
I've talked about this tool before. That one of my favorites. Can't remember what it's called, but essentially it's a stress inventory, and each of the stressors is given a rank, like a number. Like death of a spouse is like 100, and like all the way down to ran out of milk, and then it's like 1. And then it's like, in the last 3 years or 2 years or whatever, how many of these have you faced? And you just kind of go through check. And it's actually the test in the end is meant to be like, this is why you're going to be sick. You're going to be sick, period. Because it just shows, because you're stressed out, your body's, But what it also does is it lets you see how much stuff you're carrying around. You don't even realize. Like, you're right, I did move this year. And you're right, I did change careers this year. You're right, I did face grief in the last couple of years. You're right, I did do a major sleep change over the last couple of years. Yeah, and I did have some relationships alter. And yeah, I did let myself down. And yeah, I did have a couple of health issues that were hanging on. And I didn't realize that. Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. And all that stuff is still kind of like there in the background, stacking on top of each other in your heart and your soul. And it ends up, you don't remember it, but it's still affecting you.
School pressure, work demands, relationship problems, unresolved trauma, money problems, they're all piling up on them. We're pretty good at suppressing and not noticing these things, but they do catch up to you over time, and this can fuel depression. So it's important to take care of your basic needs like sleep and exercise to offset what chronic stress does to your body and mind.
We live in stress land. Like, you can't avoid it. All you can do is figure out how to process it. Went to the ER thinking I was having the worst panic attack of my life once. It was actually a kidney stone. Wow. You keep your emotions in a weird spot. Good for you. Although, if you go into the scripture, I think pretty sure it was your liver or your kidneys. Which is it? Was it your kidneys? When they say like in the heart in English translations. Pretty sure in the Old Testament it's kidneys, because that's just the way that they saw the emotional core.
Okay, here's another one. Waiting for motivation. Waiting until you feel motivated to take action, as in, ooh, I'll wait till I feel like it before I get out of bed, or I'll wait till I'm happy to leave the house or see friends.
We talked about this one last week, which is we talked about decision fatigue, right? Willpower, how willpower is a muscle. And if you're using making decisions before you get out of bed, should I get up? Should I not get up? When am I going to get up? Do I hit snooze? You know, what if if I do that, then I maybe don't get breakfast, and maybe I have to grab a granola bar, and do we have bananas? If you're doing all that before you can get out of bed, you're not going to have the fuel in the tank for willpower later. You're using it all up in the morning.
It's pretty clear to see how this can backfire, but it's also an easy trap to get stuck in. Motivation follows action. You have to act first. It's not the other way around. Behavioral activation, which is one of the most effective treatments for depression, works by encouraging you to take small steps even when you don't feel like it. Okay, another micro habit that fuels depression is emotional reasoning. This is believing that your feelings mean something. It can sound like, if I feel sad, my life must be pointless. If I feel anxious, I must be an awkward person. If I feel lonely, I must be unlovable.
This is a really good one. I haven't thought about this for a long time. But yeah, this is a really good point, because I think a lot of folks, assume on behalf of everybody else. We just talked about that. But also they trust their feelings, right? Like wow, that was a really terrible thing I created. Yeah, wow, maybe I shouldn't writing. I sound so stupid, right? You take that feeling, whatever it is, insecurity or maybe anxiety or whatever, and then you attribute cause. We love attributing cause. What's the name of that disease that I have? What is the, what would a doctor call it? And what group do I get to join? And how do I Google that? And what's the title for my particular problem? We love it. But then we attribute reasons and purposes and all that stuff to passing feelings. And it's really dangerous because, like you said, right? Because I'm anxious, I must be awkward. Isn't true. That's not causation. That's not how that works. You're anxious doesn't mean you're awkward, right? If you're lonely, doesn't mean you're unlovable. Like, those aren't the same. And yet, if you're always trying to figure out the why do I feel this way, and what does it mean, and like which is, we just talked about, like, introspection and how important that is. But I guess this is like the negative side of introspection, where you're attributing so hard and coming up with answers and therefore, like, I'm an awkward person because I'm anxious, therefore people don't want to be around me, which is why I stay home, right? Or which is why I never have conversations, because I'm awkward, because I'm anxious. Maybe not. Absolutely, probably not, right? The anxiety doesn't automatically lead to I should be alone, but somehow we convince ourselves that it is. And it could just be a feeling that we have because, we didn't get enough sleep, or somebody said something that they shouldn't have said, or you're more stressed out than you think you are. And all of a sudden you're making decisions about who you are and yourself and your future and your relationships based on a feeling that's supposed to be passing and leaving. Not good.
Feelings aren't facts. Learning to separate emotions from reality is key to shifting out of depressive thinking. Okay? There's also the classic depression fueling thinking pattern, all or nothing thinking. Depression just thrives on all or nothing thinking. If I can't do a full workout, why bother at all? If I messed up at work, I should just quit. If one person rejects me, no one loves me. Recognizing and challenging these thoughts can help break the cycle.
Challenging the thoughts is a big one, which is why I said write them down. Because as soon as you write it down, and you write down the words like, no one loves me, I'm super awkward, you look at those, and all of a sudden you're like, well, no one. A lot of people don't love me. Like, is it a lot of people? Like, who? Well, so-and-so said something mean to me today. Right? Having to actually write it down brings clarity, and it helps with this.
Usually any small action is better than a perfect action. If you don't have the time for a full workout, put on your sneakers and go for a short walk. Okay, I have 2 more for you. They are both about your mindset. We've got a victim mindset and a nothing will change mindset, a fixed mindset. So, what do you do when adversity strikes? What do you do if you get fired from your job? Or if you get in a fight with your spouse? What's your reflexive thought pattern? There's a lot more toxic thinking patterns that fuel depression. When you're thinking these, you don't really notice it. It just feels like reality. So a victim mindset says, life is so unfair, poor me, I can't do anything about it because of all these things that have happened.
Yeah, the victim mindset is different than all that negative stuff that we were talking about before, because victim mindset means I can't change it because external factors are preventing the change, right? Like, for example, a blocker was struggling with, getting people to fuel or fund or whatever, fundraising. And he was like, well, there isn't enough money out there in the world. And communication doesn't work. And sending mail doesn't work. And the church doesn't listen. And the people don't care. And no one, it's impossible because all content creators and all people who are online are ostracized by the church and no one gives 2 hoots about them. That's just the way it is. That's why I can't change anything, right? That's and all of a sudden, like, why would he send anything out if that's what he believes, right? Same thing with like I'm weak because the world is too hard, and because the world is too hard, you can tell because this happened, this happened, this happened. So I'm not even gonna try because nothing's gonna change because they will knock me down even if I try. Like, it just, that victim mindset keeps you from allows you to attribute to other people and the whole world why it's impossible to do whatever it is you want to do.
There's a difference between having been victimized and a victim mindset. A victim mindset, you'll notice, it always comes up when you're asked to make a change or take some action. I can't because ... is very different from saying, this thing happened to me. Okay? Fixed mindset is believing that how you feel is permanent and there's nothing you can do about that. You want to replace that with a growth mindset. You want to ask yourself, what could I learn? What skills could I learn to make things better? I haven't figured out how to overcome my depression yet. I bet there's something out there that's going to help me. Okay, so can you see how heavy these micro habits get? And how when several of these habits are part of your life, they can flip that switch to
really,
depression.
really good.
Okay, so why did I just make a huge list of things that might be fueling your depression? Well, when you can recognize them, you can change them. Each of these habits are tiny. They're micro responses to the experiences we have in life. Did you mess up? Are you gonna handle that by catastrophizing and thinking it's pointless? Or will you be gentle with yourself and try again? Are you feeling really lonely? Are you gonna judge yourself as broken and withdraw from people? Or are you gonna look for opportunities to remember the good time with friends and reach out to them? Let's see where that is. Taking some action even before you feel like it, right? These micro habits make the difference between depression and resilience. Because when you're able to see them and know what they are and you start chipping away at them one at a time, the balance of your nervous system can literally shift from being overwhelmed, shut down and numbed, to feeling on top of life, more alive and more motivated.
It is the little stuff. And I think that's really the motto today, right? Is it the little stuff? Like, even when we were talking about, attracting a mate or whatever, like, we got kind of, into that. It's little stuff, right? It's just a little thing to have a little habit here, a little confidence there, a little, change your a couple habits and change a couple sleeping things and, a couple of personal hygiene things. And suddenly, things after a little while change a lot. Little micro changes and change everything, man. Like, this is a great video. And I think it's also a really good reminder that if you are the kind of person that is the all or nothing thinking, where you're like, well, I'm going to change everything or there's no point, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you literally, it's just like, I'm going to change this one little thing, just this one little thing. And that, once I get a hang of that one, I'm going to change one more little thing. And then once I get the hang of that one, because look on the long term, like, even if it's 5 years, right? Change something once every 3 months. In 5 years, you have changed 4 things, probably. I don't know. Math is hard. But you changed a lot of things, right? That's the little things add up.
Pick one area to work on, and little by little, your life can improve in really big ways. Okay, so what's one thing from this list that you want to work on? Leave a comment below. Check out my Change Your Brain course if you'd like to learn more, because I teach these tiny, research-backed...
That's good stuff. That is good stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully that was helpful. I appreciate talking about this stuff, but it's all talk if it's just talk. You know what I mean? And so therefore, if there's something you want to do, or there's something you want to change, if there's some behavior, why don't we just, you know, we can talk about it. Come to the Taco Discord, you know, jump into the faith chat, jump into just chatting, jump into the you know, the content creator chat, you know, just kind of go, hey, this is what I want to work on. You know, I'm working on this kind of thing. You don't need to be like, and everybody help me and whatever, you know, just even just typing it out, just saying, hey, you know, was watching Ninja's stream today and just reminded me that I really need to work on. And so you know, that's what I'm going to work on. Just wanted to let you guys know. It doesn't have to become, and then I'll hold accountability, and then we'll start a group, and then, you know, get it out of your system and type something. Could be helpful. All right. So unless you guys have something you want to talk about, you want to bring up another subject, it is time for Stardew Valley, the better part of the stream, where we get to go and hang out with Abigail. Good old Abby. I do want all those purple DLCs though. Like it's a little silly right now because I went and saw. Yeah, I went and saw a bunch of different colors you can turn the game, and I'm like, I will be doing that. That is something I will be doing. I'm gonna make my game purple. Ooh, that's loud. I'm gonna change my category now. There we go. I'm a good streamer. Why are you dead? Stop being dead. "56 hours in." That's usually about the time when I decide I'm gonna add a DLC and break the game and have to start over and never try again. Been lurking good discussion when I was depressed. I had to figure, yeah, a lot of on your own, right? Which sucks. I mean, good thing you did, because a lot of people don't. But like, yeah, that's, phew. Yeah. Like how zoomed out I am. I was playing on Sunday and I'm like, I'm gonna zoom out. And I am so zoomed out. It is so very zoomed out. It's so funny. I'll show you guys my farm before I zoom back in. Did we go to the Spirits Eve Festival tomorrow night? Yes. Mwah, bye. Look at that. Look at my little area. It's so nice. I got a free diamond. Boop. Free coal. Boop. That's so cool. Oh, I don't have my music on because I was vibing to something else completely. We'll turn it on. There we go. It's got good tunes. I have a mushroom. I don't know where this even came from. I planted something here, and all of a sudden there was a mushroom there. So I can now somehow get mushrooms out of it? Oh, I do. I have cows. I have cows, and I have a bucket. I can fill up the bucket with milk. Let's go. Milk. I don't know what to do with it though, and I don't think it's worth much money. 150. So I could probably put it in something. Pretty sure. What can I put it in? Mayonnaise? Or an egg in the mayonnaise. Just found that mod that adds on tortilla trees. Let's go. Taco City. I saw one that lets Zoza City exist, and it's cyberpunk. It's like it's the city from Cyberpunk, which is a wild thing to say. Okay, so seed maker. Place crops inside to produce a varying amount of seeds. Should I make that? I probably should make that. You have it? Oh, do you really? That's hilarious. Turn milk into cheese. All right, I gotta make that too. So we need wood, stone, hardwood, copper, wood, coal, and gold, and an earth crystal. Okay, I have all those things. This is my Starbucks. So far, so good. Yeah, I'll go get my precious materials. First things first, I need an earth stone, and I need a gold, and a copper, I think. And then I just needed wood. All right? I think I'll just do, yeah, wood and coal. I need hardwood, and then wood, and then stone. I can probably make all the things. I have coal. Cool, let's see what happens. I'm gonna make... First, we're gonna make the cheese press. Boop. Then we're gonna make the seed maker. Boop. And this needs a copper bar. I need another copper bar. Funny. I know, right? And some of them are really like pastel-y purple, and some of them are like aggressive purple. I think I would go for the more pastel-y ones. They're really like, I don't want it to be too like, I don't want to be aggressively ugly. I don't want to be ugly. Thank you for the stream. All right, talk to you later, Magic Twilight. Have a good day. Hopefully you do well. Hope you have a good day. That's what I'm trying to say. Yep, I'm all out of words. No more words for me. Yeah, I made the seed maker, and now I just need to make the mayonnaise machine. And I'm gonna put the other stuff back. Yay! Cool. Purple rain, purple rain. All right, where am I gonna? I should probably put them in the shed. Now that I think about it, because they are food, right? So that is, I think that's a seed maker. Okay, so this makes mayonnaise. What if I put that in the? I put that in the coop. We'll put the cheese maker in here. At the very least, I'll put the cheese maker in here. No, put it in here. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna put I'm gonna put this in the coop before exploding the coop. That'd be bad. My chickens are so mad at me all the time because I keep forgetting their food. I can't hardly blame them. I try to feed them. See? There you go. Now they love me. Oh, I'm glad. That makes me happy. Truly. That's what I'm hoping for. That's mayonnaise, right? So if I put an egg in there. Cool. It just takes one egg. Nice. Now what else? Oh yeah, the seed thinger. I don't even know what that does. I'm gonna have to figure that out though. Seed maker. I'm gonna put it in front. Like right there? I don't know. I don't know what it does. I don't even know what it does. If I put things in it, apparently it's gonna spit out. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna get some wheat. But well, not that. Some stuff. We make a full purple retexture collection. Dude, I honestly saw a pack, but it had some things in it that I'm like, I don't want to change the game, right? Like that's definitely not what I want. Let's see if that works. Can I put that in here? No, I didn't think so. All right, so what can I put in there? Find your lost item. Be more careful. All right, thanks. Notice the chill in the air. It could just be the approach of winter, or it could be the tingle of the dark specter here to help us celebrate tomorrow's festival. The Spirit's Eve. Come to town at 10 p.m. if you want to participate. I will try to remember. Find some that would just be retextures. Just retextures, yeah. Because if I break the game, I might actually just quit, and I don't want to do that. You know. Walking through my area, trying to figure out all the stuff that I'm supposed to pick. Whoop. Do you guys like it zoomed in more, or do you want it or zoomed out better? Like, do you like seeing the whole perspective of everything, or is it better if it zooms in sort of a closer? Yeah, I'm not. No, I don't think anybody needs 600 mods. My trellises fell down. I don't know how, but I lost some trellises. Okay, cool. Oop, there's a sunflower I can pick up. Boop. I like the pop noises too. I have scarecrows. I do. I got them everywhere. What are you talking about? I got there, and I got a snowman, and I got a witch, and I got a scarecrow guy, and I got another witch. I got scarecrows for days, sir. See? Zoomed in would have worked better. Do you want to zoom in? Let's do that. We get. Yeah, that's that's what I thought. Brrr. Whoop, I went in there to put my eggs away. Gold star, great. I don't have a gold star pumpkin. It's killing me. I need a gold star pumpkin so I can get something in the community center, and it's not giving me one. Told myself I'd keep the grapes. Oh man. Maybe I shouldn't put that there because it always keeps changing. Yeah, now I don't have any coffee to put in there. Dang it. There, I'll put a diamond there because that's super fancy. I used some. It probably won't come for now. Cheese. What's cheese worth? 276. So I gained what? 126 dollars. Is it worth it? I don't know. I could probably make something else with cheese. I should probably go put that in the fridge. Okay, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, I was gonna keep the grapes. But I don't need anything else. Keep a pumpkin. Corn. Try to keep the silver star things in here so I can turn them into something. At least that's the thought. I'll put the grape in the fridge. Or the cheese, I mean. Cheese in the fridge. Alright, we'll sell the other things. Make my $3. Gotta keep that mushroom though. That mushroom is key because it'll let me get a really cool potion, I think. Okay, what else we got? I've done my cleaning. I've done a lot of cleaning on this little land here. That you wear the purple shorts as a hat. Of course there is. Okay, see, I'm good. I got all kinds of... Yep, see? Very good. Oh, that tree didn't belong there. And these don't belong there. You gotta go and clean these up because I only want so many trees and I won't be able to pay attention to them if they're all weird looking. Bah. Oop. 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 There. I cleared out the quarry. Someone said to me last stream, have you cleared out the quarry yet? I think it might have been Supersonic. And I'm like, no, I haven't. So I went and did. I really expected something to happen. Like I thought someone was going to come and meet me or say something, but they never did. Am I just killing time until 10 p.m.? I think I might be. How many times can you milk a cow in a day? Is it an endless supply of cow? Cow juice? Probably not. Just make space for new rocks. Just that's all it does? Lame. I had higher expectations. Where's my seed box? There's my seed box. I moved everything around. Now I can't find anything. That's a lot of tools. Starting to feel like Minecraft where I get like a million tools and no way to save everything. Although I do like it that I can do this. I wish Minecraft had that. Alright. So I can't go into town. It won't let me. I'm all out of water again. That peanut butter sandwich really took it out of me. Okay. Let's go down here. Omni tool. Did you really? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the easier you make it, the less fun the game is sometimes. But I did upgrade my pickaxe, and I did get to level 25 in the desert. I haven't got to level 100 yet. I got to level 25, so that's something. I haven't upgraded my axe yet, although I could. Theoretically. No, I can't. I don't have any iridium. You got a tool belt mod? What does it add more, does it add more space? Five more slots? Oh. I guess 5 is good. Like, it's like better than 0. Prince Theseus, are you currently listening? Are you on right now? It said somewhere that if I cut down all the trees, I have more chance of getting like, you are? Could you do me a favor and bring me some water? I desperately need it. And if I go up, I'll just may as well end stream. A bigger backpack though. I would think that would be like that is a thank you or no or yes, I don't know. I would think that would be like a, what do they call it? I can't remember the name. Something of life. Quality of life. That's a quality of life upgrade that makes a ton of sense. It said somewhere at the beginning of the game, if I clear out all of this, I can get more worms. I guess. I don't know if it's true. The winter will be true. Stop, creepy! Thanks, sweetheart. Wow, I was starting to get a little ill. That was helpful. All right, it's almost 10 o'clock. I killed enough time. I can start walking. I'll start walking there. Purple rain, purple rain. Boop. I got a mushroom. Oop. Oh, wait. Almost there. I'm coming. Time stops when you go to the party. Wait, where's the party? Is it at the beach? Uh-oh. Oh, tomorrow. Okay, good. Phew! All right, well then I didn't kill enough time. All right, home we go. Maybe we'll crawl into bed and start again tomorrow. Nothing. I'm not gonna make any money tonight. None. I should ask some experts on stream here. I've got a lot of stuff that I don't even know if I need. So is it all to be sold? Like, is it basically just sell all the, like, I got a ton of, good night here. I've got a ton of maple syrup. I got like 30 maple syrup. Do I need them? I got like jams and jellies and pickles and preserves. Like, do I need those? Like, I'm trying to, it says save one of, like, I read somewhere, it's like, save one of everything. I'm trying. But when I go to, like, the, community center, like, there's things I can't get. Make the butter churner, you can make a maple butter. Oh, yeah, fire, I love maple butter. Summer crops bundle, so I can't get those. Quality crops, I try to get pumpkins. I really am. I will have them soon. But I can't do these ones. I can get milk, one milk. I guess I can bring milk. But what's that? Wool. I won't have that, and I don't have a goat. So that ain't gonna be solved ever. And that's gotta wait for a whole season. I need fish. Wow, I'm almost done on a lot of those. So I need a red snapper. Sandfish. Tiger trout. Eel and a walleye. I don't even think I've seen half of these. Haven't seen a conch, haven't seen that. I don't have recipes for those yet. I could do these two, but I don't even know where to get an apple. Some of the fish are seasonal. Maybe I should get out there and fish just in case. You know? Yes, thank you. I figured apple tree, but like I gotta grow one. Cloudy with gusts and annoyed. I've annoyed the spirits. That tracks. There we go. One of these has got to be gold. One of them. Come on. Work with me here. Silver, 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 silver. Come on, baby. Really? Do you hate me, game? What the heck? I should have accidentally got a gold one by now. And I did. I used quality fertilizer. I really did. I got all the gold star everything. Except for that. Crazy, man. But I can go do that. I mean, it's before winter. I don't think there's any point. But yeah. Bummer, man. Isn't that crazy? I have 4. I can't get the 5th one. Nuts. That's nuts. I don't think my wife's up yet. Oh, she's over there singing her little tune. I'll go give her a pumpkin. She really likes pumpkins. But I can sell the rest. Man, I need a gold one. They only produce in the fall once they're mature, but if you have the greenhouse, they grow year-round. I do not, and I won't for a while. I can put the milk in. Hold on. Chickens. Those chickens eat so much. Ooh, gold star. I don't know. What's a gold star egg? Just an egg. I don't know how to get a large egg. I haven't seen a large egg yet. I don't know what that means. Okay, let's milk Bessie here. Actually, what's her name? Yeah, that's your name. Wait. Why you not give me milk? There we go. That's definitely not how it sounds when you milk a cow. I'm no farmer, but that's not how that sounds. Get out of my way. There you go. Love you too. I may be late, but not losing my watch streak. Yeah, dude. When you said that, I really wanted to make that animation for you. It just didn't work, and it so sucks. But oh, anybody who's listening, I do have a new thing. If you hit exclamation point working on, okay, this should work every day on my stream. Exclamation point working on, and then type something you're working on, as in like what project you're working on, and watch what happens. Exclamation point working on. Yeah, I made a watch streak animation, but it never worked. So it died on the vine. I know you want milk. Huh. I think that's the wind, my dude. There you go. See, Princessius. It showed up right there. And it's floating around. And then every 26 seconds, a plane will fly by. Zoom, Princessius is working on the manga. And it wiggles a little to show it's in the wind. Isn't that something? It doesn't want mayonnaise, but it does want milk. Okay, well. Okay. Yeah. So hit exclamation point working on, and then no more headache. Oh, there you go. I don't think there's anything else. I've done everything. I can put my egg away, I suppose. I can go put the milk into the community center. Units format isn't regular chat message. I wonder if there's a way to the sound effects. So the problem is that Twitch broke the API for specifically for watch streaks. They don't work anymore. So it means that you can't actually do that. I had a really cool animation. Like I worked on it. I've learned my lesson though. Go see if the actual trigger will work and then work on all the animations. You know, like I did it. I definitely did it the dumb way. Hyperins work, but somehow streaks are broken. Like they're removed from the API. And if you hit streak, like if you hit exclamation point streak or whatever you do, or check your streak, it doesn't use a command. It actually changes how it works in chat. It's not the same thing as a regular chat. My idea is to have a blank streaker waving a flag with the number of how many streaks the person has. I just had a different level. Is anybody else hearing buzzing on all the game sound effects? Is that a thing? See if that fixes it. No. Trigger with a sensor bar. Oh, I like that. That should have fixed it then. I don't know what the deal is there. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Digital glitch, I guess. I got river jelly in the lake. Yeah, but like I said, if you do the watch streak that like Twitch lets you do, it doesn't show up in the chat. It shows up as something different, which is what makes it broken. It does work through StreamerBot, but StreamerBot actually apparently reads everything different. Like it's a completely different system, which is kind of cool. But then at the same time, it's also very frustrating that I couldn't tap into it. I spent hours trying to figure that out. Hours. I just gave up. I'm like, this isn't worth it just to do some kind of fun meme for the people that have a streak. I want to do more fun stuff like that. Like I really like messing with alerts, and it's just fun. And now that you know you can kind of program with Gemini, and it actually kind of works. It's cool. Like that floaty bubble thing. That was just an idea that I had. I'm like, what are you gonna do with that? And then it happened. I created it because Gemini made it happen. Doing this in preparation for winter, because if I do this before winter, I might get more worms, and if I get more worms, it means that I might get more cool stuff. Maybe. Not like I need more rocks, that's for sure. Keepers. I got rocks, man. Have I ever got rocks? But I am gonna need those because I want to make a bigger barn. Which requires money. You know? You know how this game goes. Money, resources, etc. Did you stop working on something? Just type in another one. And it'll replace it with the one that you just did. Or the new one. I don't use mods for games, but there's one that caught my interest. I don't know how you can find it though. Stardew has a tileman mod. Makes you buy every single tile of the map. 3 settings. Cost. Like, as in you can't farm or do anything unless you bought them? That's rough. Trucker hat. Every single, that's, I don't know, man. That's too much for me. No way. I think this game has more than enough work. I don't think anybody needs to add more work. Well, I mean, some people really like Stardew, and they're like, I want this to be Dark Souls, but I like Stardew, and so they just make their life harder, and I get it. Been around for 10 years. Some people are like, I want to be in Stardew, but I don't want to play, like the Stardew thing anymore. So I want a challenge. So I get it, but truly, some people just love work. Shipping bin and something to sell, then work for it down. Super interesting. I wonder how that works with the lore. Hey kid, you're inheriting my farm. However, I owed everybody in the state money, which means you have to buy it back piece at a time. Almost 10 o'clock. Making good time on these trees, though. I should probably get an iridium axe. Need more money, and I actually need iridium, which I assume it means I have to go to... Like, the better place to get that would be the desert, right? Like, I found there's very little. In town. Oop, I gotta eat. Deeper. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, you gotta go deeper. Which is crazy because, like, it takes so long to get down there. Like, I don't know how you do it. Unless you're just finding, one after another after another after another of those ladders. Like, how are you gonna get down to 100? Oxfood Energy Tonics from Harvey. Life Elixir. Yeah. Yay! Job. Gravestone. Rare Crow. I already have one. I already have that one. I don't need it anymore. Funky Rug. You don't have anything good. Hello? Take a plate of food for my husband. He's been moaning. Manning! The shop all night. Different altogether. Hello. You ever fought any of these monsters before? The mummies, yes. That guy killed me once. The green dude. I don't know where he came from. You killed him. Even the spiders. Yeah, Abigail literally killed this guy on top. That guy right there. She killed him. Never met that one. Oh no, I have. Yeah, he's in the. Yeah. So yeah, I've killed all these guys. I have slain many a monster. And when you find the shafts instead of the ladders, take those every opportunity you get. Make sure you have good health. So because some of them drop far. Oh, they take health. Oh, isn't that interesting? Didn't know that. But yeah, you gotta go stocked up. I completely agree. Energy tonics from Harvey. I didn't know you could buy energy tonics from Harvey. Oh wait, I did. I think I accidentally bought one. A study in the Journal of Anthropological Physiology found that the cadence, tempo, and key of music can have measurable impact on cortisol levels. Is there vanilla ice cream to go to Blackberry Cobbler? Nerd. Yep, winter's around the corner. Ooh, lovely. I'm gonna start the thing now. I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm good. I talked to my wife. I talked to a couple people. I've had it. Oh yeah, I forgot about the maze. Can I get another golden pumpkin? What's up, bro? This is a different one. Oh, that's interesting. And there's the wizard. Yeah, the maze is different than last year. That's cool. Year 2. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Nope. Ooh, this one's a little bit more complicated. Maybe it's because I went right instead of left. Or because all the stuff happens over here. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Or do I gotta be secretive? Sometimes they have secret passages. They did last year anyway. I will try going in from the right. Or I mean the left. See what happens. Anything secret? Passage? No? Yeah, it's very spooky. Huh. How am I this bad at it? Maybe we gotta go that way. All the edges you get there. I'm trying to be smart. No, not that way either. All right, cool. Year 2 has, yeah, well, it has secrets. The first year had a secret too. I got the golden pumpkin from the secret. Aha! I did. I found the secret entrance. Hooray for me. Creepy. Very creepy. This is my spot. Yeah, knock yourself up, buddy. Okay. Not that way. Way. Other event things are there seek you to Grandpa's Shrine. Major different other things are not coming to mind. The Grandpa's Shrine is different? I didn't bother looking at that. Hello, says Abyssal. I wish I could get the topic earlier, but I could watch this beginning segment of the screen. It's 2 hours. So and I think it was really, really good. Like, not because I was doing it, but because I think it was just really, really good. Okay, let's go here and see what this guy's all about. I am Sam. So yeah, if you yeah, give it a watch and let us know how you feel. Hooters everywhere. Yay! Prize ticket for me. Cool. All right, I'm gonna travel in here. Take a secret shortcut back. Sure. Look at me go. I'm so good. All right, so I already did that. Grandpa's Shrine is different? Like, but I can't see Grandpa's Shrine unless I go back over there. I'm gonna, okay, I'll leave town. I'll leave because I've done everything, as far as I can tell. And then we'll see if Grandpa's Shrine is different. I agree with you though, Abyssal. It is a very important topic. Yep. I got a shirt. When did I get a shirt? Ranger uniform. Okay. Grandpa's Shrine, do you look different somehow? I don't think so. Oh, yeah, okay. And I gotta do the thing. That makes sense. Alright, that's enough. We're gonna sleep and we're gonna be done. And then I've gone to 4 o'clock. I fulfilled my obligations. We're gonna come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Taco Tuesday, which we are gonna talk about training. So tomorrow's Training Tuesday. We're gonna try calling it Training Tuesday to make it more clear as to what we're doing and not eating tacos. So Training Tuesday, we're gonna find something practical that we can learn how to do. Wednesday, I'm hoping that we can do some kind of content thing. Where we figure out, you know, kind of cool content ideas. And then Thursday, Lego, probably. All right, cool. Let's raid out. Thank you for being here, dudes. I really appreciate it. If you appreciated what I was doing today, by all means, please let me know. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go check out. I'll share my Substack another time, but once it's all done. But yeah, I appreciate you guys checking it out. Who are we gonna talk to? Who's on? Jade's on. Good for him. All right, let's raid the Church Digital. We don't ever get to raid them. And he's playing a super fun game. Come say hey. Yep, see you tomorrow.